bopping my head to your intro.
Yeah,
Stand up, New York Giant fans. What's going on, Baddog?
what is going on, Chris? How we doing? Friday.
Pretty good, man. Pretty good. Offseason's starting to heat up a bit. We got our OC. We don't know about the DC yet. Word came out late now. The Raiders may be bringing in Patrick Graham, so we'll have to wait and see how that plays out and if they get him, who we end up with. But, yeah, let's say hello to a couple people in the chat. Let's get the show rolling. Jeff, Scotty, Jeff, two Jeffs in the chat, Fabi in the chat, Rudy in the chat, Michael Johnson in the chat, Camarad Dog in the chat, Canada's biggest Glenn fan in the chat, Pack Rat, Heavyweight, Andrew Christopher. Hi, hola, what's going on, man? Thank you to everybody for being here. William Figueroa, man, what's going on, man? KP, Marty, David AV, Cushmaster. Thank you to everybody for being here. So, Baddog, I mean, not too much in the world of New York Giants news lately. Have you heard anything at all?
There never is. We are the most boring organization on the face of the planet. We really are. Well, I mean, HBO should be shoveling wheelbarrows of cash at the Giants to get them on Hard Knocks. A lot of interesting.
Yeah, for sure. I see Big Daddy's in here as well. Yeah, I mean, we've been the talk of the NFL world over the last couple, or at least involved in it. Not just specifically us, but involved in the major storyline around the NFL. And you would, everybody.
I have to interrupt you. People are saying that Graham went to the Raiders already.
Is that official? Graham went to the Raiders.
I just see it in the chat. Graham to the Raiders.
That must have just happened. That must
Graham is gone. Max City's gone. All right.
That must have just happened. And I was unaware on the rule. It looked like Art Stapleton was kind of unaware as well. I don't know if we're going to get draft compensation or not. It's a lateral move, but there was one part of the rule that said we may. I'm not sure how it's going to work out. I'm leaning that we won't because it's a lateral move. Obviously, the fact he's got ties to Josh McDaniel, they both coached at New England, kind of makes sense. I know he had ties to Dable as well, but I don't blame him for leaving. I mean, the Raiders probably give him a better chance in terms of advancing his career.
Yes.
They probably got more talent on that side of the ball, and they're closer to going to the playoffs. So a lot of times when you're a coordinator, for you to stand out, you probably don't want to be a part of a rebuilding roster. You want to have an opportunity to, coach a team that is going to potentially make the playoffs and potentially gives you an opportunity to become a head coach. So I think it's probably the best move for Graham. And now the question is going to become, what are the New York Giants going to do with the defensive coordinator?
Yeah, I think it was inevitable. If you're Patrick Graham, and you probably don't want to be like a leftover from, a terrible run here, and he probably wants to start fresh. And I certainly can't blame him. Like, you don't want to be the guy that slept over from the other regime that's gone, and they kind of kept him around. I think like you said, this gives him a chance to advance his career. Obviously, maybe he held on here thinking when Joe Judge was gone, that he might have a shot to become the head coach. And when that didn't happen, then he probably figures he's got a better chance, like you said, to advance with the Raiders. They are a better team than us, and their defense needs a lot of work, especially the red zone defense. It was really bad. And, I wish him nothing but the best. I feel like he did a really good job here. I felt like he didn't have a lot to work with. And although our defense certainly wasn't, top of the league last year, not 2021, but 2020, I felt like they did a great job. But I have a feeling like a lot of his conservative nature, the way he called his defense to zone, I believe that was the head coach. I don't believe that was Patrick Graham for a second. But I wish him nothing but the best. Go ahead. He said Graham is go on check Twitter at Giants.
Yeah, so there you go. It's official. I also think Graham was kind of limited due to the talent we had in terms of being able to get after the quarterback. Now he's going to go to the Raiders. You got Max Crosby. You got Yannick Ngakoue. So he's going to have some good pass rushers over there. I expect that defense to be a lot more aggressive than ours was.
No doubt. Nandon, thank you, brother. Appreciate it. My friend north of the border. He says, my Bengals in the Super Bowl. Also, congratulations to Brian D. I'm guessing that's Brian Dable. Probably up in Canada, I bet you it's as crappy as it is here. We had ice and snow and sleet, then snow again. Not a lot of snow. I mean, honestly, probably 3 inches. We were supposed to get 10 inches and didn't. But what happened was all the snow that we got froze, so I couldn't even get to the bottom layer. So there's snow everywhere. It even happened in the streets there. It's ridiculous. That's just upstate.
So you finally got some snow.
Not much, though. Not much. Literally 2 or 3 inches. But it's just all frozen. You can't shovel out of your driveway. You can only shovel off the top. Brian, thank you, brother. Trust the Coach Plus DJ. New Baddog background. Oh, I've had this background for a while. Brian. I've been using this one since I got my new computer, which was probably a couple months ago at this point. Maybe. Anthony, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate it. Giants now get 2 third-round picks with this news.
I'm going to look and see if that's official because I've heard conflicting reports on that.
King Trizzy, thank you, brother. Appreciate it. I like Pat, but we need to sweep the older. I agree. I think it's better for the Giants. I think it's better for Patrick Graham. Let Brian Dable pick his defensive coordinator. Not that he wouldn't have worked with Patrick Graham, but let him pick it. Canada's biggest Glenn fan said they got 13 inches. We didn't. I thought we were supposed to get a lot more. We did. Dustin, appreciate it. Did you get a lot?
Yeah, we probably got not today.
Storm.
No. But like 4 days ago, 5 days.
Yeah,
ago.
that one you guys killed.
Yeah, we got weird. Like a foot and a half.
Yeah, it's weird that you guys are getting hit like that. We didn't get. I got an inch of snow up here. Nothing. Yeah. It's weird how it shifted because normally, if it's 28 up here, it's 40 down there. You guys get rain. This year, it's been way different. I'm not complaining. I freaking hate the snow. I got my share of my lifetime. Dustin, thank you, brother. Curious how Jermaine Johnson does the combine. He balled out last week.
Yeah, he's the edge rusher out of Florida State. I'm looking up the Patrick Graham thing right now. I have not. I mean, maybe we will be getting draft compensation. I have not seen that. So I don't think we're going to get anything because it's a lateral move. So I'm leaning that we're not going to get any draft compensation because he's not a head coach. He's a DC.
Grim Silo, thank you, brother. Appreciate it. He says Graham's officially gone. Wink for DC or Fangio.
Yeah, I think Fangio is my. I mean, I'd be happy with either one. But if you ask me which is my number one preference, it would be Fangio. I don't know if he wants to take the job or not, but that would be the guy that I'd want more than anyone.
Right. Somebody, Dominic says Graham was close with Flores. That had to play a part in his decision, maybe. Noam, thank you, brother. Appreciate it. Will you getting compensatory picks for Graham? I think Chris just answered that because we have not, because he moved laterally, we will not. Let me touch on this for a couple of minutes, Chris, if I may, because people have asked me about this Flores situation, and I'm going to give you my opinion on it. All right. So obviously, there's a lot of news with Brian Flores. And, the reason I didn't do a video on it, I was telling Chris before the stream, I'm kind of burnt out. I just have been. And I told this to JD Sports Talk last night in the stream. I just kind of wanted to get away from the Giants for a little bit. So I didn't want to make a bunch of videos. And obviously, that's a very sensitive subject matter. And although it's a small percentage of people, there's always some people that are going to be a little bit too immature to handle the subject matter. If I can stand on my soapbox for 1 second here, for me, one of the biggest problems in today's society, in my opinion, is, for whatever reason, the inability for people to just have an intelligent debate and discussion. It's like people are so quick to jump down your throat if you disagree with them. I mean, I'm an older guy. I grew up in the 80s. I grew up and there was no internet and there was no cell phones. And when you talk to somebody, it was voice to voice or face to face. And you knew who you were talking to. It wasn't strangers. You weren't hiding behind the anonymity of a keyboard where you could just go, you're stupid, you're stupid. But to me, the biggest problem in society is we just don't take time to listen to one another. You're not always going to agree. Everybody's going to have differing opinions. It doesn't make an opinion right or make it wrong. It just makes it different. But if we would just sit and take the time to listen to somebody else who has a different opinion, you might walk out of that going, hey, you got a good point about that. I may not agree with you, but I never thought about it that way. I never thought it from that end of the perspective. If we just did that, we'd be better people. Society would be better in general if we just took the time to try to understand one another instead of just going, I don't agree with you. You're stupid. You're this. You're an idiot. Why? It happens with videos and again, it's social media, because if you are looking at somebody face to face, you're less likely to go, you're an idiot to somebody's face than on the internet. I'll say this about the Flores situation. I don't know I really don't know what the lawsuit is. I don't know what he can prove. As far as the Rooney Rule goes, I think it's well-intentioned, but I think it's incredibly flawed. It allows minorities to be interviewed, but it doesn't guarantee them head coaching jobs. And at the end of the day, I feel like it's kind of a waste of time if a team is just checking a box with these interviews instead of actually considering the man for the head coaching position. Like if I was going for a job, and say in New York State, there's a lot of opportunities for advancement where I work, and in New York State in general. And if they just brought me, we got to interview a couple of Italian guys. So if they're just like, let's bring in Baddog for an interview just because we need to check the box, say we interviewed an Italian guy, even though we don't have an opportunity, we're not going to hire this guy. We're not giving him the job. And we know that they've wasted my time. They've wasted their own time. So like I said, I believe that it's well-intentioned. I just think it's very flawed. And I don't think that it's right that these guys come in here and it's like, well, we need to check a box, so let's just bring the guy in here to bring him in. I don't know if that's what they did with Flores, Chris. From what I understand, and I'm not in the Giants front office, so I don't know this, but from what I understand, Mara really did like Flores as a head coaching candidate. But I think that we all knew, or most of us as Giants fans knew, when Joe Shane got the job as GM, that he most likely was going to bring in Brian Dable as his head coach because of the familiarity and nothing else. Whether that's right or wrong, that's what I believe that they did. Now, as far as the Miami thing goes, they could be in a lot of trouble because I believe.
And the Denver thing.
What's that?
And the Denver.
I didn't really see much about the Denver. I know Denver's involved. Oh, was it John Elway showing up hungover?
Yeah, so basically and again, I don't know how much he could prove. It might just be that he's saying that. He might not have video evidence or anything of that nature, but what he's claiming is basically what you said. He went into the interview just basically feeling like they were just checking off a box. They showed up an hour late to the interview. So imagine that from, you factor in the human element. You imagine that if you were Flores, this is like the job of a lifetime, an opportunity. This guy's never been a head coach before. He's preparing probably for weeks to try to go in for this interview, and John Elway and his constituents show up an hour late for the interview. Not just that, he said that they were completely disheveled. So yeah, I mean that is not a good look on the Denver Broncos. Of course, they're going to deny it. My guess is he's not going to be able to prove anything. I mean, it's not like he was probably recording it.
That's what I mean with the thing. I don't know what he can prove. I don't know what he can prove and where it's going to go. Unfortunately for him, it's probably going to cost him an opportunity, a head coaching job.
Yeah, I hope not, but
you just never know. But like I said, I mean, that's my opinion on it. I know a lot of people wanted to know my opinion, and I never did a video. By the time I thought about it, by the time I was like, I could do a video, it's kind of late. I was days past. I'm like, we're going to be doing a show soon. I'll just give my thoughts on it. But like I said, I believe the Rooney Rule is well-intentioned, but I think it's flawed. And I just think that sometimes I don't believe it should be there if you're just bringing in a guy to waste his time. It's not. And again, it's not like
it needs to be improved upon. It needs to be improved upon.
Yeah, without a doubt. And but at the same time, Chris, I mean, again, that's there, and it's just kind of like checking a box. You should just let the organization bring in who they want to bring in for an interview, because, like I said, if I was going for a job and it's just like when I'm going in there, I may doubt myself. It may. I mean, I'm not saying I don't know what these guys go through for an interview process. I don't know what the questions are asked. I got nothing to do with the NFL. Never have, never will. Don't know anything about that. But if I'm going into an interview and I know in the back of my head, like I said, well, we got to interview a couple of Italian guys, I'm going to think in the back of my head, are they really bringing me in here because they're interested in me, or are they just bringing me in here to check a box? And it may totally screw with the way I answer the questions, because I'll always be doubting myself or doubting why they're in here. And that's why I'm like, I think it's well-intentioned, but I just think it's flawed. And I think if you just kind of eliminated it and let the guys bring in who they want to bring in, we wouldn't have a situation like this. It's a touchy subject, and I understand you want equity and diversity, and not just in the NFL. It should be everywhere in life, without a doubt. Unfortunately, it doesn't always work that way. But I don't know. Like people are like, oh, the Giants are this, the Giants are that, but I don't know what the texts by Belichick had a lot to do with this. I don't see what he can prove as far as what happened with the Giants, whether they decided on Dable or not, and they had already decided and brought him back for a second interview. I don't think they did anything wrong except for waste the man's time. So
yeah, I mean, right now with the evidence that's been provided, I think it's going to be really hard for him to prove, even if it is true that the New York Giants predetermined who they were going to hire before they brought him in for the interview. Just based off that text message. Now, there may be more information that comes out. That's why I'll wait to reserve judgment. I just speak on what is presented to me at this point in time. When you
Mm.
read that text message, it could be, you could view it several different ways. You could read that as if he's speculating, like it's not defined proof that Bill Belichick absolutely knew and that he talked to somebody from inside the New York Giants organization, and the Giants told him not that they're leaning Dable, that they know they're hiring Dable, so that's what he has to prove. If he could prove that, the New York Giants are going to go down, and they should. They'll lose a lot of draft picks, and they should. But based off the evidence provided so far, I don't think they're going to be able to do that.
Yeah, but my biggest question is, how the hell would Bill Belichick know? Why don't we just hire Bill Belichick as a damn head coach already? It seems like he has his finger in everything we do over here. Does it not? Does it not seem like he's part of everything that we do? Is he somehow part of our organization? I love Bill Belichick. Obviously, he was a defense coordinator for 2 Super Bowls that I grew up watching, and I think he's the greatest head coach ever. But the dude is with the Patriots, unless you want to become a New York Giant, just stay over there. Kind of stay out of our affairs. You can't be all in on the Patriots and then come over here and start throwing things around. Like, I don't know what it is. People have said this. The conspiracy theory is he's still mad that we beat him in them 2 Super Bowls. He's trying to ruin our organization.
I doubt it.
I know. That's a conspiracy.
Yeah.
Jay Bro, thank you, brother. He says, how would you feel about the Giants willing to trade down the 5th pick? It would depend on the compensation.
Yeah. By the way, I see a ton of people saying Graham is gone. We know. We just talked about it before we went into the Flores thing. We're well aware Patrick Graham is gone. I don't think the New York Giants are going to get compensated for it. And we're going to be in the market for a new defensive coordinator. So, yes, we're well aware that he's with the Raiders. As far as the 5th overall pick, yeah, I'd be open to it. Like Baddog said, it depends on the compensation that we receive. But, yeah, I think the New York Giants have to be open to trading down. And I think the fact that now you're hearing like Malik Willis is having this great Senior Bowl, which is inevitable, whether it's him or whether it's another quarterback. This happens every offseason during the combine, during the Senior Bowl. Somebody's going to get hyped up. And if the Giants are truly not interested in taking a quarterback, that's still great news, because if these guys excel, it's going to potentially add trade value for the New York Giants, and there may be more teams that are interested in trading up. So nothing but good news if those quarterbacks start to continue to get pumped up.
Absolutely, especially since that Denver picking 9 is interested in the quarterback, and the Commanders. We'll talk about that. The Commanders maybe are going to be interested in a quarterback at 11. Grim, thank you, brother. I really appreciate it. There you go. Willis killed the Senior Bowl. Will likely kill the combine. I'm thinking it's more likely than not he goes top 10. If Dable and Shane seem as a potential top 10 guy, they shouldn't think twice. Well, you're right. If their guy is there, they shouldn't think twice. But like Chris says, you can buy yourself an extra year if you don't go quarterback. If you take a chance at Daniel Jones and you fail, you're like, well, he wasn't our guy anyway. We gave him a shot. Now we're going to go with our guy, as opposed to drafting Malik Willis at 7 or whatever. Then the clock starts on you immediately. You got your quarterback. It's tied to it. If he fails, you probably have.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Malik Willis, I've started to do more research on him. He's got the physical tools. I understand what people see in him. He's elusive. He's got a big arm. But what I will say is, you watch all his game film, the guy's a one-read quarterback. So he definitely has some things he has to work on. He has to improve. But if the New York Giants feel that he has incredible upside and they think with their tutelage and coaching, they could turn him into this next elite quarterback, they're probably going to take him if they feel that way. It doesn't matter what the fan base feels. It's going to come down to what Joe Shane and Brian Dable feel about all the quarterback prospects in this draft.
I agree. And if I'm looking, again, I don't like this quarterback class. I don't want a quarterback out of this class unless we trade down. But I do think Malik Willis, from what I've seen, has the highest upside of any of the quarterbacks coming out of this draft class. That's what I think. He has the highest ceiling. Yeah. He may be raw and he may be an incredible risk. But like I said, the best compliment that I could give Malik Willis is his ability to throw on the run down the field. It reminds me of Kyler Murray. You all know how I feel about Kyler Murray. Now that Tom Brady retired, he's my favorite player in the NFL. So it's just I always loved Kyler Murray. Wanted Kyler Murray to be a Giant, but that is definitely something that I see from him. He's fast, like Kyler Murray as well. But yeah, he's got to get off the one read, and I think that's the same thing. Playing at Liberty and playing for an FCS college, the speed of the game isn't necessarily as fast as it is at the Division I level. and it's certainly not as fast as it is at the NFL level. So it's always a major adjustment for any quarterback coming out of the draft class, looking at more complex defensive schemes, more complex blitzes. And of course, the cornerbacks and safeties are much quicker to jump your route. They're very intuitive to everything, and the speed is so much faster at the NFL level. It's always it's why it's the toughest jump to make is that quarterback spot. But yeah, if they like them, they have to take them. That's just the way it goes.
Yeah, if they love them, they have to take them.
Well, right. If they love it, they can't be like,
well,
we don't know. Let's go for it. They have to be like, love this guy all in.
Yeah, exactly. If you're taking them that high as we're picking.
Go Eagles. Thank you for super chat. This puts Dable and Fangio in a bad spot. I don't know why Fangio would be in a bad spot.
Yeah, we didn't even hire Fangio yet. Go Eagles, if that's what you're referring to. I'd love Fangio. But yeah, we haven't even hired a DC. And I don't think it puts Dable in a bad spot.
Yeah, I think I don't know Dable has anything to do.
Like when the New York Giants completely changed the coaching staff, I didn't expect Graham to be back. Just for the simple reason, generally speaking, when you change a head coach, you're going to change the coordinators.
Yeah.
Obviously, Dable had ties to Graham, and in the end, I think that's why the New York Giants decided that if Graham didn't get a job somewhere else, they wanted to bring him back. But I don't think it's going to kill the New York Giants. There's plenty of good defensive coordinator candidates out there. So I'm excited to see who they elect to pick.
Yeah, me too. Luca, LGP, thank you for the super chat, man. Really appreciate it. Baddog and Tainah, what are your thoughts on Charles Oakley releasing a new book, which includes burning his bridges with Pat Ewing? Oak is a clout chaser like Darling. Oakley's always thrown Ewing under the bus. Oakley's always had bad stuff to say about Ewing, so that's not a surprise.
Yeah, I didn't know he was making a new book, but like you said, he's always done that to Patrick Ewing. He's always taken shots at Patrick Ewing. He's kind of hinted at the fact that Patrick Ewing cost them championships, in the past. So I'm not surprised by it. And it sounds like he's trying to sell books.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
And I loved Oakley, but he's always had that reputation.
Yeah, I did too. As a player, the man spit blood for the Knicks.
Yeah.
So did Ewing. Ewing was that whole Knicks team was nothing but heart. That's why even though they never won a championship, the '90s Knicks will always be beloved. And whenever they show one of them on the scoreboard, whether it's John Starks or it's Ewing or it's Oakley or it's Derek Harper or whatever, they're going to get a big ovation. Allen Houston, whoever, David, thank you, brother. Appreciate it. I'm completely okay with Graham gone. If we're starting over with coaches, we should go all the way. I want Winker Fangio. I agree.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I would have been completely fine with Graham back, but I think the good news for the Giants is there's a ton of good defensive coordinator candidates, and you just named the top two, but there's a ton out there. So I don't think they're gonna have an issue. I think they'll be able to find a good defensive guy out there. So I'm not too worried about it.
Brandon, thank you, my man. Appreciate it. Trey McBride, second round. Next, Kelsey. Like him.
I mean, next Kelsey's pushing it.
If I get the next Kelsey, let's do it.
Yeah, but no, I have looked a little bit at the tight ends. I know that was kind of the talk of the Senior Bowl as well. And everything I've read and heard, most people feel that this tight end class is deep. I don't think it's as top heavy because you go back to, I think it was 2019. It was really top heavy with the two tight ends coming out of Iowa. You had Noah Fant and TJ Hawkinson. I don't think that that there's a tight end on the level of like a TJ Hawkinson or even last year with Kyle Pitts. But in terms of depth, people have said that the depth of this tight end class is as deep as it's been in like a decade. So it's a really strong tight end class. I do think the New York Giants will end up taking one. We need third round area. I think that's where we'll take one. But he's going
to be going. Kyle Rudolph's going to get cut, and we're left with Chef Oz's guy, Caden Smith. There's no part of our game plan. Maybe now, but we have no tight ends. So we need a lot of positions. That's why it's good that we have 11. Is it 11 or 9 picks? I heard Shane saying 11.
We got 9. As of now, we got 9. Unless we trade down.
11, unless he knows something we don't, which he probably does. We're 9 picks, and we need every one of them. Ross the Boss, thank you, brother. Appreciate it. Willis falls to the second round. Would you be mad? No. The Giants could take Malik Willis at 36. I would actually probably be happy with that.
I'm not going to flip out no matter what they do. If they are completely sold on a quarterback, I'm going to support it. I'm not, you're not going to see me go crazy and be excited because I do think it's a huge gamble that they don't have to take this year. But if they take the quarterback, I'm not going to flip out. I'm not going to be upset. I'm going to hope that they're right. I'm going to hope that, if you're taking a quarterback that high, though, like we've said about Daniel Jones, if you take a quarterback that high, if they're not a top 7, 8 quarterback by year 3, you failed. So they better be right if they take a quarterback that early. But I'll support them and hope that they make the right decision.
Yeah. Art Vandalay, thank you, brother. I really appreciate it. He says, my goal is to go to a Washington Commies game with a Stalin mustache and call their defense the Red Scare. I need to start working up my accent.
What's going on, Art?
Ruben Casanova, thank you for the file. Boom! Appreciate that very much. Brandon, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate it. Why no comp pick for Graham? Is it only for head coaches?
Yeah, I think it's only if you get promoted. Like I could be wrong, Brandon. I think if he was like, say, a quarterback's coach, or he's a defense. Say he was a linebackers coach, and then he became a defensive coordinator. I think we'd get compensated, but I could be wrong. But I think the fact that it's a lateral move, we're not getting compensated. I think that's the reasoning behind it.
Tutto. Grazie, paesano. Thank you for. His abs almost look as good as mine. He says, Salute, felle italiani. Drop by your office to pay a proper respect from our entire team and all the New York Giants nations around the world united. We always have a lot of Italians in here.
What's going on, Tudo, man? Glad to see you, buddy.
Tudo. Pencil Man, thank you, brother. Appreciate it. When DJ was drafted, the complaint was, who did Duke play? So who did? Liberty. Oh, so who did Liberty play? And you guys are right, the speed of the game. Well, Pencil Man, that was my thing. I've told Chris, and I've told this on this stream before, I went back and watched his game against Ole Miss. And the comments in there were, oh, he's got no talent. He's failing because he's got no talent around him. He's got no talent around him in Liberty. There's no NFL players around him. Well, the same thing could be said for Daniel Jones. There was no NFL players or NFL talent at Duke. And they lost because he had no talent around. Yeah. So my thing is, if you're going to say it about Daniel Jones, I mean, it's the same situation. So, how do we know them? And I said this before, the Giants are the Liberty of the NFL. We suck. There's no talent here. There isn't. No Sterling Shepard, he's done. We have no tight ends. Kenny Golladay, who the hell knows he's going to be, didn't score a touchdown. Their first-round pick didn't score a touchdown. We don't know what the hell we have. Our offensive line is in complete shambles. We're over the cap. Our cap space is bad. We have little talent. We're a 22-win team in the last 5 years, and people are talking about, we got to bring in Malik Willis, but make the excuse at Liberty that he had no talent around him. Well, he's not going to have talent around him here. And again, the speed of the NFL is going to be 10 times what it is at Liberty. That's my big hang-up.
I highly suggest, because I've been looking at Malik Willis a lot over the last couple of days because the Senior Bowl, and I know he's going to get propped up by the fan base because anytime that there's a electric quarterback like him because of his raw physical talent, people are going to get excited. And then you start to hear that he threw good in the rain and yada, yada, yada. I highly suggest anybody, I thought it was a good objective film breakdown by that franchise guy. He made it 5 days ago. It's called Malik Willis. Film is a big, beautiful mess. And I think that is a perfect way to describe Malik Willis. I think he's a guy that he especially after watching that, he's a guy that has the raw physical talent to have upside. But he's got a lot he needs to work on. And that doesn't mean he can't succeed. People point out Josh Allen. That's true. Josh Allen did succeed. And there are instances where it can work. But he's definitely has a lot to work on. There's no doubt about it. So that's all I'll say about Malik Willis. I do think he's got upside, and I would probably guess he has more upside than any quarterback in this draft class.
I would agree. I would agree with that. Yeah. Hey, thank you, brother. He says the DJ propaganda has to stop. He stinks. In my best bad dog impression, I pray we move anyone but DJ. I mean, I haven't been saying anyone but DJ. I am an advocate of bringing him back this year because it's going to allow you to build important parts of this team for the future quarterback because Daniel Jones will not be here in 2023. And I'm not saying the Giants can't be a decent team this year, but I'm not expecting it. I'm kind of figuring this is going to be a throwaway year because this is a year that we're supposed to rebuild, and you rebuild by rebuilding the trenches and trying to get your best players in the draft. And then you start moving forward. I don't expect a turnaround like the Bengals had. I don't expect us to win 10 games. I'm hoping we win 6 or 7 and get better and then continue to move forward. instead of moving a little forward and then falling completely on her face, which is what we did this year. So it's got to be a very interesting offseason. Well, I can't wait for April. I just want to know what the hell is going on now. I want to know what we're doing.
Yep.
That's man. Thank you, brother. What do you guys think of Martindale for DC?
I would love it. He's a very accomplished defensive coordinator. The Ravens kind of fell off this year, but you could definitely point to the fact that they had a ton of injuries on that side of the ball. They were missing 3/4 of their secondary, and they were a top 7 defense each of the 3 years before that. So I'd be a big fan if we brought in Don Martindale. He's a very accomplished defensive coordinator. I see no reason not to, at least see if he has interest.
I'm with you. I mean, I was an advocate of bringing him in here for a head coaching position before we took Joe Judge. So I certainly, yeah, like you said, he's definitely accomplished. He's been successful. So it certainly would not hurt my feelings if they brought him in here. We'll see. There has definitely been talks about him coming in here that Dable likes him. We'll see what he does. But I would have been perfectly happy with Patrick Graham staying here. I thought Graham did a great job. But at the same time, I do believe that Dable should be able to hire his own staff, and this is going to allow him to do that. Pain with wheels, thank you, my man. As a lawyer pointed out on NBC, Flores' team pushing towards a subpoena, which could lead to your interrogation, confiscation of email, text, call logs.
We'll see what happens.
I was just going to say, we'll have to wait and see.
We'll see what happens.
It ain't going away anytime soon.
Well, it's kind of like a quarterback, Baddog. All I could do is give you my opinion based off of what I've seen so far.
Exactly.
I can't predict what Daniel Jones is going to look like next year. And it's the same thing with the evidence. I can't tell you what's going to come out. I can tell you with what has been presented to us so far, what I think about the case that he has to present against the New York Giants. I think if more information comes out, of course, things could change drastically.
Yeah, agreed. There's not much. We're going to find out just like you guys and girls.
Yeah.
Tutto, grazie. He says, about 4 a.m. here in Italy. We're about to start the day with 2 miles uphill incline, 4 miles track, shower, breakfast, meeting, training, gym, practice. The grind never stops. That's who we are. Yes. I don't quite grind like that, but I know the grind.
I love
5:30, go to work, come home, make dinner, go to the gym for a couple of hours, come home, hang out with the kid, get up, stream at freaking 10:30 in the morning, at night, go to bed at 1:30, get up at 5:30 in the morning. Yeah,
I just see the chat. I just love these comments. Fred says Chris just wants Daniel Jones to be the guy. That's why he doesn't want a quarterback. Next year he'll make the same excuses. Couldn't be further from the truth.
Oh, I'm behind in the chat. So.
Couldn't be further from. No, I'm just saying. I read the chat. Couldn't be further. I don't want Daniel Jones to be the long-term answer. As a matter of fact, Fred, I'll go as far to say if Daniel Jones throws 30 touchdowns next year, unless this team wins 12 or 13 games, I'm going to be in full support of drafting a quarterback.
Yeah.
I don't think Daniel Jones is the long-term answer. I've come out and said that, and I've never been head over heels in love with Daniel Jones. I support him as a quarterback because he's the New York Giants quarterback. I just am of the belief it's not the right year to take a quarterback, and I'm not going to let the fans sway my opinion. I'm going to give my opinion. That's my opinion.
Right. Tutto. Grazie. He says, once we put out a team jersey for the game, we on a mission to bring back the W. For all the fans who gave up everything for us, we're here for them. When's Tutto going to be? Tutto needs to be like a linebackers coach for the Giants or something. I just think he does. Especially when they play the Eagles. I feel like Tutto would be going around with like a tire iron and hitting him in the knees before the game. Let him know he was there. Dashy, thank you, my man. Appreciate it. The Giants need to find another defense coordinator. They just lost their DC to the Raiders. Yes, they did. And Dashy's ready for that Super Bowl. He's a big Bengals fan. So he is definitely ready for the Super Bowl. Neil believes, thank you, my man. Appreciate the super chat. He says, my take is that Flores' situation is 2 separate conversations. The Rooney Rule and Belichick's text. The media has taken this and run with it. They're also leaving parts of the story out. It's frustrating. I don't know what they're leaving out. I don't know. Again, I'm not part of the NFL. I'm not part of the media. Like Chris said, I only gave my opinion on what I know. And we're going to find out more as things progress. Hopefully the Giants didn't do anything wrong, and hopefully nothing is proven, and hopefully whatever needs to get worked out gets worked out. I really don't know. It's definitely a situation that I don't think we've seen before in the NFL, at least not that I remember.
I'm with you. I can only give you guys my opinion based off the facts that have been presented so far. And from a Giants perspective, I don't think there's much of a case against the New York Giants right now. that
My
may
man.
change.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, go ahead. Go ahead.
He says, my man Bobby, thank you, brother. He says, cheers, fellas. All balls well. Just stopping through. Thoughts on the quarterback situation? Does DJ get moved? I don't. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. I'm leaning no, but he may. And whatever they do, I'm going to support.
All I can say is Joe Shane went to the water bottle when they asked him about it. To tell. They were like, oh, what are you, CSI? I'm like, no. I didn't say what it was a tell for. I just said it's a tell. When you get nervous, if you play poker and you make somebody nervous, they're going to tell you something. Whether that's taking a drink, the way they drink it, the way they move their eyes, where they look, maybe they make a sound with their mouth. There's always something. Ask Matt Damon from Rounders, but it's true. So he didn't take a sip of that water bottle the entire time. And then as soon as the name Daniel Jones got there, before that question was even finished.
I got to shout out Pizzle, by the way, because now Pizzle's giving it to me on the other end. He says, Chris is always hating on DJ. He wanted him gone from day one. That's what you hear on YouTube. You get half the fans that come at me for my initial reaction. They say I always wanted him gone. Then you get the other half that are like, Chris wants Daniel Jones to be the next incredible quarterback. No, I just want the New York Giants to win football games. I don't care who the quarterback is.
I agree. I wish Daniel Jones was the next great quarterback.
Yeah, I think old fans.
He's a Giant.
Yeah.
I hope that he does throw 40. I hope Daniel Jones is a top 5 quarterback next year, and the Giants want to keep him here. That's what I hope happens. Yes.
Of course.
Absolutely. I want Daniel Jones to have to force his way back here under a second contract so that they can take draft picks and put them elsewhere. I would love him to be the man. I just don't think that that's going to happen. We'll see. Yeah. Joe Judge didn't do him any favors. I know that. Osama bin Shrick Day really says also Tiki Barber is such an embarrassment. I didn't see what Tiki said, so
Tiki Barber. I mean, from what I saw, Tiki Barber just came out and he had like he talked about basically how he doesn't think the Maras are racist. I mean, he talked about like a story how the Giants like asked him to come see Wellington Mara before he passed away. I mean, people could interpret it the way that they want, but that's basically what it was.
Gotcha. Stanley, thank you, man. Malik Willis is like Russell Wilson with Mike Vick speed. I'm not going to go that far. I'm going to have a hard time comparing a Liberty quarterback to Russell Wilson. Like I said, the best compliment that I could give Malik Willis from what I saw is his ability to throw on the run down the field with the hip torque reminds me of Kyler Murray. And that was one of the most impressive things that I talked about with Kyler Murray. We'll see. If Malik Willis ends up a Giant, I'm going to root my ass off for Malik Willis. And hope that he is Russell Wilson with Mike Vick's speed.
Of course.
You know?
You're a fool if you don't.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Neil believes, thank you, my man. If Malik Willis is drafted by the Giants, I wouldn't be mad. I hope they trade back in a first-round pick for next year. I don't see Daniel Jones back in 2023, barring a great season. I hope he does well. Couldn't agree more there.
Yeah.
Could not agree more with that. Bodo, thank you, my man. Appreciate it. Says, an apple a day keeps OBJ away from the Lombardi. I'm feeling OBJ will have a big game against him.
Oh, he's saying because Eli Apple's going to be going up against him. Yeah.
I don't think Apple's.
I think OBJ is going to get his ring. I think the Rams are. I mean, it could go either way. I've picked against the Bengals every step of the way, and they've proved me wrong. So we'll see. But I'm picking the Rams. I think the Rams are going to win.
Yeah, I do too. I'll be surprised, but the Bengals have been. Surprised.
I don't know if I'd be surprised, but I think it's going to be a really good game. But I'm picking the Rams.
Yeah. Well, the Rams are home.
Yeah, they
the
are.
Rams are literally
home. That's happened, by the way.
What's that?
That's the second year in a row that's happened. The Bucs were home last year.
Yeah. That was the first time that it had happened.
Yeah, it was. It was the first time it's ever happened.
Or did the Rams play at home in Super Bowl 14 against the Steelers? For some reason, I thought that game was in Los Angeles. And I don't know if the Rams played in the Coliseum back in 1970.
I could be wrong. I'm pretty sure. I think I remember hearing last year was the first time it's ever happened.
Maybe. I know they played in Los Angeles. Maybe it wasn't exactly where the Rams played in 79 when they played the Steelers, but I know the game was in L.A., but maybe it wasn't their home stadium. Maybe that's what they're talking about, where it's the home stadium. Maybe it was just the home state. Justin, or thank you, brother. I really appreciate it. If Jones plays like Tannehill-ish tier in the league, would you think about a second contract? No.
Nope.
He needs to be a top 5 quarterback.
Yeah, I would say top 7 or 8. If he approaches that, then yeah, you think about it. But Tannehill to me is not a top 10 quarterback. So no, he's got to be better than that to warrant getting a second contract.
I completely agree. And he hasn't shown anything that he can do that, but maybe this regime gets the best out of him, and he does live up to what some people think that he can be. We'll have to wait and see. Ruben, thank you, brother. Appreciate it. What would you want in return for Saquon or Daniel? I'll take a 4th round for each of them. Wouldn't mind trading Jimmy G. I don't want Jimmy Garoppolo here. Definitely don't want.
Jimmy Garoppolo makes too much money. Makes $27 million, and we don't have any cap space as is. And he's much like I just said about Jones. Like I wouldn't want to give Garoppolo a contract because I don't think he's a top 10 quarterback. Yeah, he wins, but he's been in an ideal scenario with the 49ers. So I have no interest in Garoppolo, especially with the salary that he made.
Yeah. And also with Barkley, I would want more than a 4th round pick because I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, I looked at this wrong, but he gets $7.2 million this year, and if they trade him, they still get the cap at a $7.2 million. They'd get hit with that regardless. Just keep him. Just keep him. Unless you're getting a 2nd round pick, I would just keep him around. He doesn't make any money this year. He's cheap.
Yeah, I'm not.
Maybe with a fixed offensive line and a new coaching regime, maybe he's good again.
I'm not trading Barkley just to trade him. I have to at least get some decent value. Otherwise, I play out the year and hope with an improved offensive line and a 2nd year away from the ACL tear, he takes a big jump and I get more for him.
Yes. Dashi, thank you, my man. I really appreciate it, brother. He says, even the media sleeping on the Bengals, it's like they never learn. Boom, shakalaka. No, they don't. The Bengals, hey, man, the Giants have been through that a couple of times. It's good.
Hey, man, if I was a Bengals fan, I would embrace that. Like Baddog said, us as Giants fans embrace that. You're the underdog. Just embrace it and keep doing what you've been doing, man.
Hey, Lou, thank you, brother. Appreciate it. He says, Rams played in the Rose Bowl against the Steelers. I guess the Rams didn't play in Pasadena. Maybe that's what it was.
Same state, but not okay.
Gotcha. So they did play in California, but it was Pasadena.
Okay.
It didn't matter. It was all Steelers fans anyway. The Rams were surprised. That was a surprising team to make it there in '79. The Steelers were about to win their 4th Super Bowl. John Stolver should have won MVP of that Super Bowl, by the way. I know they gave it to Bradshaw. Bradshaw turned the ball over 3 times in that game, threw 2 picks, and he fumbled. John Stallworth is the reason they won the game. He had the big touchdown in the 4th quarter that gave him the lead, and then he had the huge 50-yard catch in the 4th quarter that put the game out of reach. John Stallworth should have won the damn MVP, not Bradshaw. Stallworth got robbed, in my opinion. John Schmidt, thank you, brother. He says, one of these troll football accounts tweeted that to make sure no team has home field advantage again in the Super Bowl, they'll all be held in AT&T Stadium. Because that's where the Cowboys play. So,
there you go.
You got to worry about that. Tuto Gratz. He says, our entire team's wondering and asking if Chris knows how to pronounce his Italian last name the right way.
I do.
Because we have a player with the same last name here.
Guzzo.
That's right.
That's how it's pronounced in Italy. Guzzo.
That's right. Because you don't say pizza, it's pizza. So double Z in Italian is Z.
Yeah, Guzzo. I only know that because when I went to Italy, that's how they pronounced them. Like, oh, wow.
They went there and they said, hey, it's the entertain. It's a pizza. They did. He said, hey, paisan. Hey, have a slice. Have a pie. Banjo Martindale, did you go live with?
Yes, I did. He's talking about Patricia Train. I was on her channel earlier today.
I'm a little confused. I didn't know what her last name was. I'm thinking that did you go live with Tainah, but he put an R in there. I thought he was asking me. Like, I'm live with him now.
Yeah, I did. And out of either one. Really, either one. I think they're both great. If I had to pick one, I'd say Fangio. I think I would have Fangio above him, but both of them are terrific defensive coordinators. Either one.
Yeah, I'd be on board with both of them too. Room 237. Rad Rob. Great movie. I just got a text from Belichick. He spelled Belichick correctly. Automatic points on this channel for spelling Belichick's last name correctly. Informing me, Michael. My car's warranties expire. How many of those calls you get a day? Bill L, thank you, brother. He says, I know this is Giants talk, but Chris, what's up with the Knicks? They're supposed to be the highlight of New York sports this year.
They stink. They stink. That's what's up with the Knicks. And they're going to make it.
They'll win on Saturday. They'll win tomorrow.
Well, yeah, probably.
Lakers. They're the same exact team. They are the same exact team. Lakers have more talent. Knicks try harder. But other than that, the results are exactly the same. The one thing I'll say about the Knicks that I thought going into the year, felt like they moved laterally. They got Kemba Walker 6 years too late. They overpaid Evan Fournier. The East got a lot tougher with Chicago getting a lot better and Miami getting a lot better. And nobody was overlooking the Knicks this year. I feel like people may have overlooked them last year. This year, they took them seriously.
And Randall took a
huge terrible.
Yeah, Randall took a huge step back. That's been a big thing, too.
Mr. Graham. That thumbnail. Mr. Grandmaster Sensei, sir, isn't DJ the best to weave from the 2019 draft? Better than Haskins and more upside than Minshew? Well, no. I think Lamar Jackson came out. And Kyler Murray.
Lamar was 2018, but Kyler Murray, obviously. But
okay, my bad.
Yeah, but we couldn't. I think he said the best we could have taken. I think that's what I remember. Yeah, I mean, but Mr. Grand, yes, that doesn't mean it was a good pick. Just because it was the best, it would be like in this year's draft. Like, let's say we take Matt Corral and Malik Willis. If they're not very good, but they're better than all the other quarterbacks, that doesn't mean it was a good pick, right? It's the same thing with Daniel Jones. Just because all the other quarterbacks behind him are horrible, if he doesn't end up being a very good to great quarterback, it was a bad pick.
Yeah.
Take him overall, right?
Who else came out of that? Lock?
You had Drew Lock. You had Jacob Eason, Haskins. I think, Eason was the year after, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, I think Haskins and Lock were the next two after Daniel Jones.
Richard Romanoff, thank you for the super chat, brother. Appreciate it. You wanted in Super Bowl guy. Do you hope the Giants do something this year to get them to win the Super Bowl? The Knicks suck, Randall. I don't know. I don't think the Giants will have enough to get to the Super Bowl. We don't have a Joe Burrow. That's part of it.
Yeah.
We don't have a Jamar Chase. We don't even have a Joe Mixon, in my opinion. But I don't know. I just want the Giants to get better. That's really it. I want them to get better, and I want them to continue to get better. I just want them to improve, and so that in a couple of 3 years we can be like, all right, we're good. We're good now, and we're going to be good because we drafted properly and built the team properly, and not just have one glorious season like we did in 2016 and then fall off the face of the earth. That's what I'm hoping that we do with this organization, because it's certainly been rough as of late. Tutto, grazie. He says, we're all proud of you, Chris, and love your shows. You're one of us as we expected. You made our day. Everyone's happy and cheering now.
Good to hear that, Tutto.
That's definitely. Bill L, thank you, my man. I appreciate it. He says, New York Sports Talk on ESPN this weekend. Trade Randall for Westbrook. What are you guys' thoughts?
No.
It'd be the biggest Knicks thing to do ever to take on Russell Westbrook. Westbrook sucks. The Knicks
I don't want Russell Westbrook.
Westbrook makes $45 million. He makes $47 million next year.
No. Yeah, and how old is he now? He's 34.
31, 32.
He's 33. He's going to be 34 next year.
Oh, all right.
I'd rather De'Aaron Fox than him. I heard the rumors about Fox from Sacramento. At least he's really young. He's like 20.
He ain't costing you $45. Trust me, I watch Westbrook every night. The Knicks do not want him. Yeah. But that would be the Knicks thing to do.
Yeah, I heard the rumor.
I heard talking about getting him years ago, and the reason they didn't get him was because he was so damn expensive. And that was like 3 years ago. What's that?
I'd rather Fox. Fox is going to be 24 next year. I'm looking at his. He makes a lot of money, but I mean, what's the point in adding Westbrook? Westbrook's not going to help us win anything. The guy's got LeBron James and Anthony Davis on the Lakers team. They're not winning. So,
right.
No, I'm good on
because he stinks.
Yeah, I don't want Russell.
He's a turnover machine that can't shoot to save his life. Although I looked at his stats, he's actually shooting higher percentage this year than his career percentage of both 3-point shots and 2-point shots, which I couldn't believe. But he don't fit on the Lakers. It wouldn't surprise me if the Lakers try to move him out of there. But Randall came from the Lakers. I don't know if Randall would want to go back.
Yeah, I don't think we're trading him to the Lakers.
De'Aaron Fox would be much better for the Knicks.
Yeah.
But the Knicks are totally a team that will take Russell Westbrook because it's just what they do. Dashy, thank you, brother. He says, I know this is Giants talk, but speaking of the Chicago Bulls, bounced back by beating their division rival Pacers after a bad loss to Toronto. Bulls are good.
Yeah, I didn't think they'd be this good before the year started, but I thought they'd be vastly improved because I liked a lot of the additions they made in the offseason. So I'm not too surprised they're doing well.
They got a couple of injuries. Caruso's out with a broken wrist, and Ball's got something going on with his knee, so they lost a couple of their guards, which sucks. I really wanted the Knicks to get one.
They got a good team, though, the Bulls. They got a good roster.
They do. Well, Zach LaVine's really good. DeMar DeRozan is awesome. They're a good team. I wish the Knicks would have taken Lonzo.
Yeah.
Orvin and Jagrom, thank you, brother. He says, today I was on the phone with tech support and wasted 2 hours of his 4-hour shift. If you didn't get it, tech support equates to a scammer. Jagrom.
Okay.
Robert, thank you. Coach Belichick is the best. Hey, Dynamic Duel. Thank you.
What's up there, Robert, man? Thanks for popping in, buddy.
Pain with Wheels. Thank you, my man. Shout out to Matt Lombardo for Tone Deaf Take of the Week, calling Burrow a cerebral, smart quarterback, and Mahomes just athletically gifted. What a clown.
I didn't see that. I've never been a big Matt Lombardo fan, so.
Interesting take.
Yeah, I mean, so basically he's saying that Pat Mahomes is not a very smart quarterback. That's what he's insinuating. No, I just think Pat Mahomes choked this past week. I'll say that, but no, he's definitely. I would not call him a dumb quarterback at all, which is kind of what he's hinting at there. I think Pat Mahomes is just fine in the intelligence department. He just came up short this week, though.
I'll take it.
He choked. So I will say that. You got to be fair. Pat Mahomes, that was bad this week.
Yeah.
I'll take him in a minute. I'm just saying he was bad this week.
Hey, he was terrible.
Yeah.
I don't know what the hell happened. He made some bad decisions. That decision, I swear to God, he didn't know that they were out of timeouts. He was calling for timeout after the.
Oh, you saying before the half?
I think he
was. Yeah, he was calling for timeout. And then also the fumble, he was lucky he even recovered that. He made a couple of other throws that should have been picked off.
That's right. If Eli Apple didn't have thumbs for fingers, he could have been the hero. BJ Hill's got better hands than frickin' Eli Apple. Ain't that something? I think it surprises anybody, though. Hey, Oop, thank you, brother. White GM, white coach, white offensive coordinator. We have to do better. Chris mentioned this before. I don't care if they're black, white, green, yellow, rainbow. Just win games. Just win. I don't care. Just be good at your job.
Yeah, I understand the microscope the Giants are under now with the whole Flores thing. And listen, I want African-American minority coaches. I want to say that because it's not just African-American. It's all minorities. There's only 3 minority coaches in the entire NFL right now. I want it to be more diverse. I want everybody to have an equal opportunity. But if you're asking me if I care what ethnicity or color my coach is, I just win. I don't care. Just get the best guys possibly in here. So I just hope that the New York Giants did a fair search and they truly felt that Dable was the best guy, which right now I still believe that until such time I see more evidence.
Yep. I agree. I just want to win. I don't care who it is. I don't care. I just want to win. I didn't care if it's Patrick Graham. I don't care if it was Brian Flores. I don't care if it was Leslie Frazier. I don't care if it's Brian Dable. I don't know who else they brought. I don't remember who else they brought in for
Dan Quinn.
Well, I don't care if it's Dan Quinn. I don't care if it was Mike McCarthy. I don't care who it is. I just want to win. I'm so sick of freaking losing. I just want to know what it's like to be a good, competitive football team that doesn't get its face stomped in every week. That's all I'm asking for. No matter who the hell that guy is. I don't care. It's like the same thing with the quarterback. I don't care who the quarterback is. I don't care if it's Daniel Jones. I don't care if it's Malik Willis. I don't care if it's Matt Corral. I don't care if it's somebody else. Just get a good quarterback that can play and that can elevate the team and can win games. I'm just sick of losing. I hate the losing. Room 37, thank you, brother. He says, if the Giants are guilty, do we lose first-round picks?
I'm trying to look back on Patriots history. So I just looked at it now. The Patriots, when they got caught for illegally filming, they did lose a first-round pick. So I I'm not sure. I don't know what the penalty would be. It depends on how severe they think what the New York Giants did. But right now, I'm not too worried about it unless something else comes out. If something else comes out, yeah, it's obviously entirely possible we could lose a first-round pick. They're going to make an example of the New York Giants if they could prove wrongdoing. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, it's definitely a possibility.
Wick Maker Westwick says, your boy Wussel would love to come to New York and wick it up.
I'm good. I pass. I'll pass.
He is a brick maker. Missing layups, missing dunks. That's Westbrook. Turning the ball over 6 times a game. You don't want that? We don't want that here in New York.
I'm good.
$45 million a year. Dancy, thank you, brother. Appreciate it. Says, I was about to say that, Chris. I mean, how do you choke away a 21-3 lead to the Bengals?
Yeah, he choked. I mean, it happens. It happens to the best of them, right? Even Brady choked in here and there. He choked against the Jets. He lost to Mark Sanchez. So it happens to the best of them. But I'm sure Mahomes will bounce back. But
Russell Wilson choked. He threw an interception in the end zone. Could have won the Super Bowl.
Yeah, it happens.
He choked a number of times.
Yeah, more than he should have.
Right. They all the best quarterbacks have bad games and bad spots. It just happens. Stanley, thank you, brother. Hey, Baddog, what's your take on Mike Kafka? I didn't look much into, or is it Kafka? Kafka.
I think it's Kafka, if I'm not mistaken.
I didn't look much into him. What I did hear when I was listening to Mad Dog Radio, no relation. Somebody says, I read a comment there. Somebody said his Mad Dog Russo's son. They have a similar name, and Mad Dog's a lot like him. No, we're not related. But from what I understand is Andy Reid did not, under any circumstances, want to lose him. So
yeah, he was a huge Andy Reid guy. Andy Reid went out of his way to get him. Obviously, he played for Andy Reid. He was a quarterback for Andy Reid while he was with the Eagles, and I'm sure he picked up on that. He thought he'd be a good coach in the future. And the plan, from everything that I read, was eventually for Kafka to become the offensive coordinator if Bieniemy ever moved on and got a head coaching job. Obviously, that hasn't happened. That's why they ended up losing Kafka to an offensive coordinator job with the New York Giants. But there's been teams in recent years with the Seahawks. They tried to pick him off. The Eagles tried to pick him off in 2020, but Reid blocked him. So he's been a guy that's been in high demand. And the one thing I thought about when we brought in Kafka more than anything else, if Daniel Jones is going to be the quarterback next year, which right now I think he's going to be based off the things we heard, that may change. But if he's going to be the quarterback next year, you think about the scheme that Daniel Jones was drafted for was Pat Shurmur. Pat Shurmur coached under Andy Reid. Now you got a guy with Kafka who both played and coached under Andy Reid. So I'm not saying it's going to be an identical offense, but it's probably an offense that they feel. And again, Dable's going to have his say in terms of the type of offense they run as well. But I'm sure he's going to add a little West Coast flair to it that they probably feel fits Daniel Jones' skill set relatively well.
I'm going to go out on a limb, and I probably shouldn't, because when I go out on a limb, they usually break off and I land on my head. I think Daniel Jones will be much better this year than he was under Joe Judge. Does that mean that he's going to be good? No, but he'll be a lot better.
I mean, he better be. I mean, with the offensive systems we're bringing in here, I mean, if he's not, there's a big problem. I mean, we're bringing in 2 really good offensive minds. Let's see, let's wait and see what they do in the draft if they address the offensive line.
Yes,
they address what? I'm sorry, what?
I said yes, please.
Yeah, yes, please. If they address the O-line and these guys get healthy, I don't know if he's going to be good enough, but you would only assume he's going to be improved off what he's been the last 2 years.
By the way, just real quick, we have 830 people in here. Thank you so much for hanging out with us on a Friday night. We do appreciate it. Do us a favor. Hit the like button. Helps out the stream a lot. Always helps out the live streams. Hit that thumbs up. Helps out stream. Free and easy to do. Hit the subscribe and ring the bell. More importantly, make sure you go into the description. First thing there is a link to the Entertainment Talkin Sports channel. Sub them up. We'll be doing this show again on this channel probably next week. As I would imagine we're gonna continue to do the show as long as there's stuff to talk about. Obviously, by the time we get into March, maybe not so much, and then obviously as we get closer to the draft, we'll pick it back up. But maybe there will be news the entire time. This has been a very interesting offseason so far, and it's certainly far from over. But thank you for watching. We really do appreciate it. LA Lou, thank you for the super chat. Besides Jones and Barkley, who that had a bad season, do you think could benefit from these changes, and who do you want to punt off the team? Riley Dixon. Since you said punt, I would love to punt him off the team and save $3 million.
There's a lot of guys I'd like to punt off the team. Some guys I can, some guys I can't. Like I can't punt,
Galladay
off the team because of the amount of money he makes. Right? I would if I could free up that kind of salary cap.
Leonard Williams.
Leonard Williams is another one. He makes $26 million. He's probably not going to be in the long-term plans of the team. But for this year's team, I think the most obvious guys that you're going to punt off the team, Kyle Rudolph, Riley Dixon. I would punt Blake Martinez is another strong possibility. Bradbury's another one. Sterling Shepard, with the injury he sustained, you save almost $5 million. So
Hernandez is going to be gone.
Hernandez is a free agent. He's gone.
Ingram's going to be gone.
Carter's probably going to be gone. And who's the other big free? Oh, Jabril Peppers is probably going to be gone.
We'll have some different players. Sure. Some Trickson, thank you, brother. What's up with Bobby Thompson fake news stories? I don't know who Bobby Thompson is. The only Bobby Thompson I know hit the shot heard around the world in 51 off Ralph Branco.
I'm trying to see what he's referring to. Let me see.
Oh, the other thing I wanted to say about Kafka that I do know, bald. So we're in good shape. Who's a bald defensive coordinator? We need
what's his name is on the 49ers? D'Amico Ryans is bald.
Is he available? We could have the bald triumvirate. Daybald, Kafka is bald. And if we get 3 bald guys there, that's definitely turning it around because we all know bald is beautiful, baby.
the only giant, he didn't say his name. He said Bobby Thompson in that super chat, right?
Yes.
The only Bobby Johnson the Giants just brought in as the offensive line coach, but I haven't heard anything as far as the fake news story about Bobby Thompson. I don't know what he's referring to.
Kishore K, thank you. Really appreciate it. Trade DJ, draft the quarterback, sign Tyrod Taylor, and have a new quarterback be his backup. Look at where his backups are now. Josh Allen, Justin Herbert, Baker, now Sills, magic touch. Just talking about Tyrod Taylor, I guess.
Yeah, well, Kishore, if you're going to draft a quarterback, I agree. I think that's what if there's a market for DJ with the injury that he has, but if you could get something, if you're taking a quarterback inside the top 7, yeah, you trade DJ. If you could get something for him, it's silly to keep him on the team at that point if there's value. That's the only option, in my opinion. You're not keeping DJ if you're drafting a quarterback top 7.
Nick Sekulis, thank you, my man. Appreciate it. Just heard the news about Graham. Do we get comp picks for a lateral move?
I'm going to do more research on that because it was kind of up in the air. Art Stapleton, last I saw, said it might have been possible, but that was before this happened. Let me check Art now, see if he said anything. But I'm leaning that we are not going to. But I'll let you know if I see anything official.
Yeah, I'm not sure how that works. DJ Smooth, thank you, brother. Thoughts on Graham to the Raiders? McDaniel sucks. And we talked about it earlier. I think it's a good move for Patrick Graham. I think it gives him future opportunities and advancement. Where we just hired a head coach, so he probably wasn't going to be he knew he wasn't going to be a head coach here for hopefully years to come. Hopefully not till Dable retires.
Okay, so this is coming out from Art Stapleton regarding that question. Until I'm told otherwise, I'm going with the premise, as others have also stated, that the Giants will not be getting any draft compensation for losing Patrick Graham to the Raiders. Obviously, because it's a lateral move. So it doesn't look like it.
Jareed, thank you, my man. Appreciate it. Do you think it's possible Malik Willis will shoot up the draft so much we may take him at 5 or 7? Hearing he was impressive on Senior Bowl practice. I think the combine has a lot to do with quarterbacks stock or anybody's draft stock. I think that teams put too much into the combine. Myself, they're throwing in perfect conditions. They're throwing with no pressure in their face, no chance of getting sacked or lit up by a blitzing linebacker, no coverage on anybody going down the field, no complex defenses, nothing. So it's just showing their basic skill set, which any of those guys should look great in the combine because there's nothing to challenge them. But it always happens. So, yeah, Malik Willis has a great Senior Bowl and he lights up the combine. It's definitely possible.
What I'll say about Malik Willis, I think what impressed a lot of people, like you said, it's you don't have to worry about getting hit. But one thing that he did really well was he threw in bad conditions. It was torrential downpour, and he was the one that really stood out. I think there was a stat, and I'll probably do a video on Willis tomorrow because there was a stat where I think his average error speed on the throw was faster than anybody they've ever seen since they've been recording it since 2018. So, and I saw one throw that he made. Not that it was like a difficult throw, but it was like the zip on the throw that really stood out to me. There was a couple plays that I thought people were like, what do they see? Like I saw one guy say, look at Malik Willis is ridiculous. And it was just like a rollout going against his body. It was a 15-yard throw. I wasn't like blown away by that. But in terms of the zip on his throws, there was one or two throws that definitely made my eyes pop out. So I understand what people see in the kid. And listen, it only takes one team to be enamored with a quarterback in terms of their upside. It could be any one of these guys. Like if they feel this guy has incredible talent, it happens in every draft. A lot of people probably didn't think Carson Wentz was going to go as high as he did. A lot of people didn't think Blake Bortles was going to go as high as he did. It happens, with these workouts, and a team convinces themselves with the coaching staff they have, they can get the most out of a prospect. So whether it's Malik Willis or whether it's somebody else, I'd actually be surprised if a quarterback does not go in the top 10 of this year's draft.
Yeah, because Denver picks 9th, and I think if nothing else, if nobody took him before, I think Denver would be the first one to take it at 9. And like Chris said earlier, if we're not interested in the quarterback, then Malik Willis blows it up, or Matt Corral, or anybody, it could definitely help us out with us picking 7th, because a team might want to jump up ahead of Denver, like Washington. Not that, well, I mean, we saw Philadelphia and Dallas trade a couple of years in a row now. So it is possible maybe Washington and the Giants do work a deal. Maybe Washington said, I don't know why the Giants would help Washington get a quarterback, but you never know. Maybe it's somebody else. I don't know who else needs a quarterback in the mid-range area. I know Pittsburgh probably wants one, but they're in the 20s. But if Pittsburgh said, hey, listen, we'll give you this. We'll give you 3 first-round picks and a couple of seconds to move from wherever they're drafting, 20th, 21st to 7th, you do it. But that could definitely help the Giants if they're not interested in the quarterback, because if somebody wants to get up there ahead of Denver.
Yeah, that's ideal. For me, that's ideal. If you could trade down and get a ton of draft capital in the future, if we're not taking a quarterback, it makes complete sense.
Yeah. Bodo, thank you, brother. Appreciate the super chat. It says, could be like the Steelers were most likely having one of the Santa's reindeer starting quarterback. Well, there you go. Yeah.
I actually heard, I forgot who it was. I think like the Senior Bowl director said on Twitter that the Steelers were enamored with Malik Willis, and they were not shying away. They were like, it was clearly obvious that they were enamored with him. So don't be surprised if they look to trade up and get a quarterback.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. It's possible. They say, I don't know where they're drafting.
I think they're like 20.
It's got to be in the low 20s or
yeah, because they made the playoffs. So, yeah.
But if they said, listen, we'll give you 20, we'll give you our first and second round picks this year and 2 future firsts and a second, because they're gonna, if they wanted to go from, say they're drafting 21st, I don't know where they're drafting, but if they want to go from the 20 area to 7, they're gonna have to give up a ton to get up there.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
We'll take all their picks. I would do that, because that's the way you build a team. You build it with draft picks, especially when your cap sucks. Definitely would do it. Grim, thank you, brother. Appreciate it. Justin Pennick said Wink is interviewing tomorrow. I don't know who that is, but
he's from Talkin' Giants with Bobby.
Oh, gotcha.
Let me take a quick look what Justin said here on Twitter.
Well, some been tricking. Thank you, brother. Appreciate it. Bobby's fake sources said we're getting Dorsey. I don't know who this Bobby guy is.
Wait, what was it? What was
it? He said Bobby Thompson. What's the fake news stuff? And they said Bobby's fake sources.
Oh, now that he said the fake sources, that was the guy on Twitter that has like 5,000. Now I think he has like 8,000 followers. He had 5,000 followers when he was saying all these rumors and basically acting as if he had inside sources, and Giants fans bought it because I think he got one thing right. You know how it works on Twitter. If somebody has a check mark Baddog and they say something, everybody believes it. He was one of those accounts, and the last like 3 things he said has not come out, not been true. So
can I just start doing that and see what happens?
Yeah. It's easy. It's basically you just predict things, and if you happen to get lucky and you're right, people think that you actually have inside sources.
Okay, I'm going to say that Wink Martindale. I'm going to go on Twitter tomorrow and say Wink Martindale will be the New York Giants defense coordinator. My sources say. Justin, thank you, my man. Bobby Thompson was someone on Twitter saying Dorsey was all but confirmed, and Graham was staying. Says journalist for Bucks on Patriots on bio. Gotcha.
He's just a guy looking to pick up followers. That's what he is. That's what he is.
Twitter. John C., thank you, brother. Chris Richards for defensive coordinator.
I think it's Chris Richard. Maybe I could be wrong on that, but he's a former DBs coach for the Seahawks and the Cowboys. I don't know where he is now. We actually interviewed him for head coach back when we brought in Joe Judge. Where is he now? Let me see. He's with the Saints actually as a DBs coach. Maybe. I mean, has he ever? Oh yeah, he was a D coordinator with the Legion of Boom with the Seattle Seahawks. So that's where he got his name. That's where he started to gain popularity. Maybe they'll bring him in.
Yeah, I like the Twitter thing though. I think that I should start just doing that on Twitter, just to do it. You never know. Twitter's funny because some tweets really blow up out of nowhere, and I'm like, yeah, that's interesting. I'm like, why is that such a popular tweet? Like the Giants one, when I said, believe it or not, young Giants fans, we used to play in this game when I was talking about the NFC Championship, like that. I'm like, some of them are weird how they get really.
Yeah, it is weird. Some blow up and some don't. It's weird.
Yeah, strange. Duncan, thank you, brother. He says, hey, Pimp and the man. How come the Giants didn't consider Doug Peterson? I think they did for a second.
They never brought him in for an interview.
Well, there was rumors about it.
Yeah, there was rumors. He was like the Vegas favorite there for a bit, but I don't know. It's a good. I suppose it's a good question. I wouldn't have been in love with bringing him in. I wouldn't have cried if we did. I mean, the guy is a Super Bowl winning head coach, but yeah, I actually think it's a good fit with the Jaguars. I saw a lot of Giants fans making fun of that. I think Peterson could be a good fit with the Jaguars. He's an offensive mind. He's got Trevor Lawrence. You got the first overall pick, and you got the second most cap space in the NFL. So I don't think that's as bad of a job as some people may think. If you believe in Trevor Lawrence.
Motor Warner said, Wink Martindale, didn't he produce all those game shows in the 70s and 80s? I don't know if he produced them. I know he was the host of Tic Tac Toe. I do remember. Tic Tac Toe, Wink Martindale. I remember that. LA Lou, thank you, brother. Appreciate it. He says, not sure how comp picks are ordered. Will the Rams get one for losing O'Donnell to the Vikings? I think it depends on the contract they get.
Well, O'Donnell, hold on.
By the way, I saw Jeffy say, Baddog, you should start making hot shot predictions and see if you're right. I have made hot shot predictions. I'm never right. I'm always wrong. I am never right when I make predictions.
O'Connell. It's Kevin O'Connell, isn't it?
Oh, maybe.
I think it's Kevin O'Connell. But no, you wouldn't get anything for that. If it's O'Connell you're talking about, it's only for minority head coaches, so you wouldn't get any compensation for that.
Gotcha. Kishore K, thank you, brother. Pat to Las Vegas confirmed. Yes.
Yeah. We heard about it earlier, Kishore. I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised after everything that went down and the fact that he's got ties to McDaniels from New England. So it makes sense. Plus, I think it gives him a better chance of career progression. I think they got a more talented team. Usually more eyes are going to be on a team that's winning football games.
Yeah, I agree. Jeffrey says, not true, bad. You did say Creed Humphrey would be a beast, and he is. I don't know if that was so much of a prediction, but when it comes to Oklahoma guys, I'm usually pretty good at knowing what because I watch them all the time. But some other guys I don't. I don't know. I didn't think Lamar Jackson would be good. I didn't think that Josh Allen would be good. They're definitely wrong about Josh Allen. I thought Dwayne Haskins would suck. I was right about that. I thought Sam Darnold would suck. I was right about that. I'm right and I'm wrong. As is everybody.
Everybody's right and wrong. Everybody's right and wrong.
Everybody.
Yeah.
I joke around all the time. I've been married 22 years. I'm always wrong. Ask my wife. I'm used to it. Gustavo, thank you, brother. He says, you guys hear that quarterback on Stephen Ross' boat with Flores was Tom Brady? NBC said it might not be a coincidence that Brady retired to close Flores' lawsuit. So close to Flores' lawsuit.
I did hear it was Brady. At first, I just assumed it was Watson because of all the rumors with between Flores and Watson and how Flores wanted him and the Dolphins wanted him. But yeah, I did hear it was Brady that was the unnamed quarterback on the boat. I did not hear the speculation as to why that may have been why Brady retired. I honestly don't think that's why Brady retired, but I don't know. Maybe something will come out. But Brady was 45 years old, and it didn't look like the Bucs were more than likely going to be able to compete for a Super Bowl for much longer. So I think that's why Brady hung him up. He probably saw all these young quarterbacks, and he was like, all right, it's time. It's time. Sees how all these young quarterbacks are playing in the playoffs. He's like, all right, it's time. That's my take on it. But, yeah, I did hear about that Brady was the mystery quarterback.
So, I mean, Chris, how do you think we've done this offseason so far with the hiring that we've done.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it was either Peters or Shane were the two guys that I wanted in terms of the GM. So I was happy with the Shane hire. And I always thought he was the favorite based on everything that you had heard, leading up into the GM search. So I was not surprised at all. And once you hired Shane, obviously Dable became the favorite. And then once they didn't bring in any other offensive coaches, then it even made me further think it was going to be Dable because it was so obvious that the New York Giants should probably take an offensive head coach. We've all been saying that for a while. So everything's been status quo in terms of like what I expected. So, and it's hard for me to like judge the moves because I'm not going to jump the gun. Kind of like what we said when they hired Dable and when they hired Shane. It's like it's great to be excited in the moment, excited for change, and hope that these guys do a great job. But it's a complete mystery. Much like if we take a quarterback, people will be excited. It'll be a complete mystery. You don't know what's going to happen. So I'm going to sit back, relax, enjoy the show, and hope that these guys do a great job. But it's exactly what I thought was going to happen. Now we got to see if we bring it as the DC, but it's pretty much exactly what I thought was going to happen. I do like Kafka, though. I think Kafka is a really good pickup.
Let me just do something here real quick, which I forgot to do at the beginning of this because it's on StreamYard. And I'm just noticing something in the chat. So let me do that.
I see Royal Money, and I'm just not saying you're wrong. I've seen a lot of Giants fans say this, and I understand the opinion, especially I think a fan base generally is when something's not going right, they want to do something the completely opposite way. So I understand it, and a lot of Giants fans, I think, shared this sentiment. He says, I don't like that they went with the first-time head coach to an already losing team. For me, it didn't bother me. But I understand where fans were coming from because I look at the best coaches in the league, Baddog, almost all of them were first-time head coaches.
Yeah.
Very few of them are retreads. So that's just my take on it. Just because a guy has been a head coach before, it doesn't guarantee that the guy's going to be successful or anything like that. Giants took a shot, and I just hope it works out.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, listen, I think that we kind of knew what it was going to be and who it was going to be because you want the GM and the head coach to be on the same wavelength and you want them to be able to work together, and they have worked together. So there's familiarity there, and hopefully they are the right guys. I guess we won't know. Obviously, yeah, the Giants hired another guy with no head coaching experience. Got to take a chance. I mean, Bill Belichick was hired for the Browns with no head coaching experience, and people say, yeah, he struggled, and he did bring them to the playoffs in '94. They were 11-5 that year, but Cleveland was a horrible organization before Belichick got there, and he made them better. Parcells had no head coaching experience when he became the Giants head coach in '83. Yeah, he had a terrible '83 season, but then he turned it around in '84 where he won a Super Bowl in '86. I mean, Tom Landry had no head coaching experience when Dallas took him on. Vince Lombardi didn't have, as far as I know, didn't have head coaching experience when the Packers took him on. So it's not always like you need a guy. I think it helps certain aspects, especially with the younger team.
Yeah.
Maybe it does, but they have to come from somewhere. You mentioned before, Chris Sean McVay was not a head coach. He's doing a pretty good job with the Rams.
You name the best coaches in the league right now, outside of Andy Reid and Belichick. Almost all of them were first-time head coaches. So, you got to give them a chance and see how they do. With the team, and hopefully the guy's a great head coach, and time will tell. And I'm going to give him more than a year, before we start to judge this guy. But I'm excited to see what he can bring to the team.
I agree. Big Daddy, thank you, brother. He says, I'll be excited if we pick 5 offensive linemen, 2 in the first round. I'm fine with back-to-back offensive linemen in the first round.
Yeah, so am I. I'm fine with it. I don't think we're taking 5. I know Big Daddy's a big O-line guy like me. I think we're taking 3 if I had to guess. Out of the 9 picks, I think we'll take 3 offensive linemen, and I don't think we're going to take 2 in the first round, even though I would not be upset at all if we did it. I think we'll take 1 in the first round, but I do think we'll leave this draft with 3 offensive linemen.
Agree. Well, they better get a few without a doubt, and we better get, like I said, the first 3 picks. 2 of them need to be lined. We have to build that. Whoever the hell our quarterback is, not just for this year, but in 2023 and beyond. You need it. It helps. Yeah. It certainly helps. You can be a great quarterback without it, but it certainly Why would you want to put your quarterback in that predicament?
Yeah, the goal should not be to the goal should be to help your quarterback out as much as you possibly can.
Bono, thank you, brother. He says, smart job, Baddog, enabling it 5 minutes or longer. I just forgot to do that. When I do things on YouTube, I always remember, and I usually remember when I do this too, but I just happened to notice that spam kept coming through, and I'm like, yeah, that shouldn't be happening. I was like, oh, I forgot to change the settings. So,
what did you do? I always forget to do this.
put subscribers on only, so only subscribers can comment, and then I always put slow motion, like slow-mo mode on for 20 seconds. It gets rid of the spam.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
So I totally forgot to do that. Robert Human, thank you, brother. LT's birthday. LT, why I still bleed blue. That's right. The GOAT turned 63 today.
He's 63 today?
63.
Happy birthday,
1959. Probably still could get 15 sacks. Man was a beast. I saw Jeffrey asked earlier, he said, Chris and Baddog, who do you think will be a better center, if you had to guess, between Creed Humphrey and Tyler Linderbaum? I would say Creed Humphrey. I just think Creed Humphrey is an absolute beast.
Creed Humphrey was great his rookie year. I think he had what do you have? I think he was the highest graded center, wasn't he?
I think he was. Listen, again, I always say it must be something about the center position, but I was pretty good with Creed Humphrey. And I'm not saying Tyler Linderbaum can't be right around the Creed Humphrey level. Tyler Linderbaum doesn't have the size of Creed Humphrey, but his ability to get the second level, his ability to pull out, and his ability just to maul people. I was like, he's small. He's small. 6'3", 295. He's tiny. Nothing.
Yeah.
6'3".
Yeah, nothing.
295. Little guy. Little dude.
I just looked it up. The Creed, Creed last year had almost a 92 grade. In his rookie year. So yeah, he had but I mean, I would think Linderbaum could at least be on par with that, guys. But with the way people talk about him, you watch his film, the guy's incredibly athletically gifted. So we'll see. But both of them are going to be great centers.
David, thank you, brother. Appreciate it. I want Linderbaum guys at 5, don't play. Wants Linderbaum at 5. Don't play. Listen, I always love the analyst. Oh, you don't take a center that high. Listen. You take the player that you need the most, and if you love him, you take him. It doesn't matter where the hell they go. I don't want a quarterback at 5, but if the Giants feel that, hey, we got to get Malik Willis in here, they take him at 5. That's their guy. I feel the same way about Linderbaum, and I talked about this with Quentin Nelson. Everybody's like, you don't take a guard at 2. You can't take a guard at 2. Don't ever take a guard at 2. And then we draft Barkley, and he ends up getting hurt, and Nelson ends up killing it for Indianapolis. Why the hell didn't we take Quentin Nelson? Why didn't he said he wanted to fix the line, Chris? Why didn't you take Quentin Nelson at 2? That's what happens. So you think Linderbaum, if you're the Giants and you think, yes, we really need a center. We don't have one. Want to bring back Billy Price? I certainly don't. You want to try Nick Gates at center coming off of that massive leg injury and not knowing what he'd be? I don't. Take Tyler Linderbaum if you want a center. And if Nick Gates is healthy, move him to right guard, which is his spot, and draft your right tackle. And then you got something going there with Andrew Thomas and Linderbaum and Aquanu or Cross or whoever you want to take. Listen, I'm a defensive guy, but this year, Chris, it's all about the Hawks.
Get the Hawks. Get it done. I'm with you.
Grim, thank you for the super chat. There's early rumblings that Thibodeau might drop the 5.
Yeah, so I mean, the only rumblings that I've seen so far, at least, is PFF had him dropping to 5. And I mean, it might happen. Who knows? I mean, what I will say is these mocks that come out now, everybody's going to try to have different opinions to try to create buzz and try to create interest, and we'll see. I'll believe it when I see it on draft night. But if he's that good as people say, if he drops to 5, take him.
Yeah. Again, if your guy's there, go for it.
I mean, he plays arguably the second. I would say the third most important position after left tackle, but neck and neck. You get a dominant edge rusher, it could completely change the defense. You get a guy, if he's there, you take him.
Yeah, I agree. Patel says, who do you think we get for our defensive coordinator now that Graham is gone?
I mean, according to I will say Justin has pretty good intel. He told me about Joe Shane like week 10 that the New York Giants, he was going to be the favorite to land the GM job. I think he talks to a lot of the beat reporters. So he said Don Wink Martindale is coming in for an interview tomorrow. So my guess is it's very possible Don Wink Martindale.
I thought that there was talk that Dable and Shane really liked him anyway, and that he could have been the favorite to come in here. Because I didn't expect Patrick Graham to come back. I didn't even know that they were going to hang on to him. I thought that they were going to let him go too. Obviously, Patrick Graham just decided to go to Vegas. But I thought that Wink Martindale would have been the favorite. We'll see.
Yeah.
I just put it on Twitter that we're going to get him, and then we'll see if I get a check mark next to my name. That Baddog guy got that right. Oh, he must know something. No, I know nothing. Rob, thank you, brother. More draft capital to trade up next year for CJ Stroud. Let's stay away from Ohio State quarterbacks, please. I do not like Ohio State quarterbacks.
Because of the scheme?
I don't like them. They stink. People are like, we're talking about Justin Fields is good. Justin Fields is not good this year at all. Terrible. He was terrible. He one of the lowest QBRs in the league. It's bad.
We'll see.
I mean, he'll be better, but God, he didn't look like he was worth a 20th, third round pick, or the 20th overall pick, a third round pick, and a 7th overall pick. I can tell you that.
What I'll say, Rob, is if we're not taking a quarterback this year, I think that's in an ideal world, regardless of whatever quarterback it's going to be for in 2023. I think that's ideal. Whether or not we're going to be able to trade down, that remains to be seen, but I think it's ideal.
Hobby News Plus, thank you for the $5. Boom! Appreciate it. Unknown users says stay away from Alabama quarterback. At least they had a couple good ones. Joe Namath.
Not so much recently, though. They haven't
well, Mac Jones isn't awful.
Yeah, he had a solid rookie year. Rookie year.
AJ McCarron was 0. And
Tua doesn't look great.
No, Tua. Well,
it's okay, I guess.
Before Tua was hurt, he really did. But that hip. Jalen Hurts definitely don't look great. I'm going to tell you that. I know he transferred to Oklahoma, but he really was an Alabama quarterback, and we all know he stinks. We all know he stinks. Adam, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate it. He says, Belichick texted me and said the Giants are interested in signing me. I was confused until I found out he meant to text Devontae Adams.
Sorry, Adam.
Yeah, I agree. Slink says, Baddog, let's get some ogres on that O-line, big and nasty. I am all about the offensive line this year. It's time to fix that thing for real.
Yeah, 100%.
Late spring can't get here soon enough. The days are long. I'm on vacation from when's my vacation in April? I think my vacation is April 15th to May 2nd. I had a long time off in April. I always do that at the end of April. I'm looking forward to that. And one of my favorite weekends of the year is covering the draft with Chris. It's a lot of fun. The days are definitely long, especially that third day. It can definitely be grueling after we've, spent out. But it's so much fun. And we like to try to guess who's going where, especially the first couple of days. Obviously, the third day, you're going to hear guys you have no idea who they are. Then a lot of times the third day we'll just kind of talk about what we did the first 2 days, but it's always fun. I love covering the draft. It is a lot of fun. And the first year we did it, it was obviously very memorable because that was the year we took Daniel Jones. Big Daddy, thank you, brother. 2 in mid-rounds, Chad Muma, linebacker, and Charlie Kolar, tight end.
All right. I'll look into Kolar. I definitely think we need to take a tight end in the mid-rounds. I'll say that, Big Daddy. I think I've got round 3 for my tight end round. I think one of our 2 third-round picks, I think I've got round 3. Maybe round 4. Round 3 or 4.
Jeff Lopez says, why did Graham leave? Did Graham give a reason why he moved on? I mean, you and I just assumed that.
I think it's one of 2 reasons. Or a combination of both. It's either, obviously the whole Flores thing, it may have rubbed him the wrong way. And no doubt about it. It's very possible. But I also think that I do think that he could easily look at the Raiders as an opportunity for better career progression because they're a better football team. Odds are you get eyes on you, you could potentially get a head coaching job. If you're with the Giants, who are probably not going to be a very good team next year, more than likely you're probably not going to be able to get a head coaching job. So that more than anything else. And the other thing I'll say is I think Graham probably, if it was still available, should have taken the Steelers job because I know that he interviewed for the Steelers job. And when he did, I was like, that job's a slam dunk for him with all the talent they got on that side of the ball. But he ended up with the Raiders job. I think it's a better job. I do right now. I think it's a better job for
him. Sling said he left because of taxes. That could be. John, thank you, brother. For second-tier edge guys, Ojabo is better than Karlaftis, in my opinion. I agree. I'm not a big Karlaftis guy.
A lot of people like Ojabo. He's got higher upside. I know that. So a lot of people like him.
Anthony Tewksbury, thank you, brother. Appreciate it. Would you trade Barkley for a high third-rounder based off his injury history? Yeah, we talked about that earlier. Somebody mentioned a fourth-round pick, and I said the Giants would probably have to get better than that. For the simple fact, we'd be on the hook for the $7.2 million. It's a dead cap. We're paying him that anyway. Fix the offensive line and see what he can do. It's tough with Barkley. We're not re-signing Barkley. I can't imagine they're going to give him a second contract unless it's cheap, or maybe it's a 2-year deal. Like, I can't see them giving him a long-term deal. It's tough, man, because I don't think you need a superstar running back to win this league. It certainly helps. I mean, look at the Titans with Derrick Henry, how many games he wins for them. But you look at a guy like Elijah Mitchell, came out of the 6th round and he killed it for the Niners. So I might want a second for Barkley. I don't know if I can get rid of him for.
I don't think they're trading him. Not this year. At least before the year starts, I don't think they're trading him. In season, I can't speculate on that. If there's a good deal there, but I don't think they're going to trade Barkley before the year starts. I won't say I'd be shocked because crazy things have happened with the Giants in the past, and you have a new GM and head coach. But I don't think we're going to trade him before the year starts. I'd be moderately surprised if we traded him.
So would I.
Yeah.
Grim Silo, thank you, brother. We pass on a quarterback. Keep an eye on the name Will Levis for Kentucky for 2023. He's got a similar skill set to Josh Allen. Big howitzer arm, crazy athlete, raw, but has top 10 potential. No fanfare yet. Well, he plays in the SEC, so I just like I watched.
I think I remember somebody else bringing him up to me.
I watched Kentucky play Florida. I don't know that.
Yeah, I'll look into him, but I think I remember a couple people bringing him up to me. So that's my type of quarterback. I mean, if you get a guy, I mean, Josh Allen's everybody's type of quarterback, but that type of upside built the way that Josh Allen is, like that's ideal for me.
There was one game I was watching, and I can't remember who the hell they were playing, and I was watching that. I remember thinking, wow, that guy's not too bad. I don't remember what the hell game it was. I watched so many games on Saturday. It's crazy, but I can't remember what the hell game that was. It's still amazing guy. He said you can't trade your former second overall pick for peanuts. The problem is, well, not the problem. This regime's got nothing to do with Barkley. He wasn't their pick. So if they want to trade him for a 3rd-round pick, I mean, it's at their discretion. They didn't draft.
You absolutely could.
Yeah, that's what I mean. And we're going to let him walk anyway, so we're not going to get anything for him but a compensatory pick. So you're going to get peanuts for him.
You absolutely could.
Like Chris said, I don't think they're trading him at the beginning of the year. If we get off to a 1-5 start, possible that they trade him.
Well, if he's playing well and there's a market for him, yeah, I definitely think it's possible they trade him.
Yeah. Yeah, and again, the Bills need a running back, and these guys came from the Bills, so you never know. Sorgan says if the line is fixed, Barkley will be fine, so stop. But that's a problem. You don't know that.
I think I do think
Barkley should be better this year.
Yeah,
he had a whole year to get over that ACL injury. Hopefully, that's not playing mind games. Sometimes it takes guys longer to recover from that injury or not. 2 years out. He should be good to go. He should be 100%. He should be ready to rock and roll. And if the line is fixed, he definitely has a better opportunity to succeed.
I think provided we not that the offensive line is going to be perfect, but provided we have solid improvement on the offensive line this year, I expect Barkley to be good. I'm not going to say he's going to be incredible, but I think he's going to be much improved off last year if we fix the line and he's another year removed from the ACL tear. Still don't think he's going to be in the long-term plans, but I think he's going to be a better player next year.
Skylar says, how much would an extension be for Barkley? Why not extend him? I don't know if Barkley would take an extension like right now because he's had an injury and he didn't have a good year this year. He did not have a good year. So obviously his market value is incredibly low. I honestly think this is a year for Saquon Barkley where he really could come in here and blow it up. He knows he's playing for a contract. Ain't going to be here probably, but somewhere. So if he comes out and he has a big year, he could get paid. Obviously, if the Giants were able to extend him and they felt like he had a promising future and they could get him now and not give him as much, because like I said, his value is about as low as it's going to be. I just don't know if Barkley would do that right now. Barkley will probably gamble on himself saying, I know I can have a big year this year and I'm going to get paid. But it would depend on if this GM and head coach feel like he's a part of the future. But they didn't.
Yeah. I mean, in terms of like how much it would be, I mean, you look up the highest paid running backs. I mean, that's what it was. If he had a great year, that would be what he would want. I'm not saying he would get it, but that would
franchise him because it'd be a fortune.
Yeah, I mean, like Christian McCaffrey, for example, makes $16 million a year. Alvin Kamara makes $15 million a year. Zeke makes $15 million a year. If Barkley had a huge year, somebody would probably give that to him. So
it won't be us.
I don't think it will be us. But that you're asking what it would like if Barkley ever gets back to that form that he had, say, in his rookie year, before the injuries he started to sustain. Yeah, he would want that type of money, and I don't think it's in the New York Giants' best interest to give it to him.
I don't either. Penda Sports says, "My stubborn to think Daniel Jones just sucks." No,
I don't think you're stubborn. You have an opinion, and right now you'd be right.
Yeah.
Now you'd be right.
I'll be honest with you. I hope that he doesn't, but there's nothing. He hasn't proven anything outside of 3 really good games his rookie season to prove that he can really take the jump to the next level. He hasn't proven that. Now maybe this year they get stuff right and the system they bring in is perfect for him and he does have a good year. But no, again, like Chris said, it's your opinion. And a lot of people agree with you that he's not very good. And he has been. He's thrown 21 touchdowns and 17 interceptions in the last 2 seasons. That's not good. So, no, I don't think you're stubborn at all. You know what I wanted to ask you, Chris? Because I mentioned this in the video that I did about Dable. Press conference. Again, I'm not going to sit here and yeah, like I did with Judge. I got ahead of myself. One thing I noticed about Dable, and I just want your opinion. It seemed to me there was a little passive aggressiveness. Like guys would start asking him a question and be like, "And how you doing today?" And like he would kind of interrupt them and like kind of be like, "Yeah, I'm in charge here. I'm in charge."
What do you mean? What do you mean when you're talking about? You're talking about Dable did that to the reporters?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, they'd say, "Hey, Brian, Jordan Renan from wherever the hell he's from, I don't know." And then he would start, "Yeah, how you doing today, Jordan? Yeah, good to see you." Like I just thought that was funny how he kind of interrupted him a little bit before they could ask the question, as if to say, "Yeah, I'm in charge."
The vibe I got from Dable, I didn't get that vibe, but maybe I got to go back and watch it again. And I didn't feel I don't know. I didn't get that feeling that he was rude to the reporters, but
no, not rude. A little
just like quick and to the point.
No, like kind of like I'm in charge here.
Yeah, maybe.
Like, yeah, you're not kind of like you're not going to intimidate me.
Which is good.
That's what I got from you. Yeah, your question ain't gonna bother me. You're not intimidating.
But the vibe that I got from Dable more than anything was, and I liked it. It was refreshing, even though we'll be the first to say, and anybody in this chat would probably agree, we were all really impressed by Joe Judge's opening press conference. Yeah. But what I liked about this press conference was it was like the complete opposite. Like I almost felt like Dable, it was almost like before I set up for a stream, like I don't know what I'm going to say. I don't know what I'm going to talk about. Obviously, there's a central topic, but it's just free flowing and you're shooting the shit. And that was the feeling that I got from Brian Dable in that press conference was he just went up there and he gave an honest answer. And it was almost like a feeling as if nothing's going to bother me. I'm not going to sell you anything fake. I'm just going to come out. I'm going to give you honest answers. I'm going to talk about whatever you guys want me to talk about. And it just looked like he was completely confident. Let's put it that way. It didn't seem pre-rehearsed. It felt authentic. So that was my takeaway from the press conference overall. Not, it didn't blow me away, kind of like Judges did, but at the same time, it was kind of refreshing.
I did you actually tweeted this out, but I did because I saw your tweet. I had not watched the press conference yet, but I did like when he asked that guy with just a really
Oh, the
thick
New York,
Brooklyn accent. Wait, in South Carolina? That was pretty funny.
yeah, that was pretty funny.
He's like Brooklyn. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I did like that he kind of tried to mix a sense of humor in there too, loosen up the mood a little bit. I'm like, all right, bald guy, you gotta have a sense of humor when you got no hair. RB Brooklyn, thank you, brother. He says Graham is a smart guy going to better weather in a state with no state taxes, got more money. I want Vic Fangio.
Yeah, I listen. I would love Vic Fangio. I honestly don't think that's why Graham left, but maybe. But I would love Vic Fangio.
When I retire, I'm going to a state with no taxes either. Give me my New York State pension. Don't make me pay taxes on it. New York State gets enough of my taxes. I shouldn't have to pay them ever again. I'll go to a state with no taxes. Taxes suck. Avery DeGorio, thank you. D. Giorgio, thank you. He says, get 3 offensive linemen with the first 6 picks and let's actually rebuild. I'm on board for that.
Yeah, I think that's ideal. That would be. I mean, in the first 4 rounds, you take 3 linemen because we have 2 picks in the third, 2 picks in the first. So, yeah, sign me up with that, man. I'm in.
Pencilman, thank you, brother. Appreciate you. He says, if the Steelers want to trade up for Willis, what would as a minimum the G-men ask for in return? Well, 3 first-round picks. I think that they would need this one and then the next 2 years from them to go up from 21 to 7, and they would need some second-round picks. The Giants would need like 5. That's a king's ransom to trade up and get the first quarterback off the board.
Yeah, I've done a video on this in the past in terms of like the value for a quarterback, because the value for when you're trading up for a quarterback, the value is significantly higher than when you're trading up for like at any other position, right? So I look at the point chart. I think it was Jimmy Johnson made the point chart, right? And we're picking 5. So say they wanted to come up to 5 from 20. And the way that I equated in the video, if I remember correctly, it's like 150% of what it would normally be if it's a quarterback. When I've went back and looked at what quarterbacks have gone for in the past, the 20th pick is worth 850 points. The 5th pick is worth 1,700. And generally speaking, a future first-round pick has the value of a second-round pick. That's the way it works. So, like you said, it would be at a bare minimum for me if we're dropping from 5 to 20, just looking at the chart, it's probably the 20th pick, the second-round pick in this year's draft, the first-round pick in the 23 draft, and the second-round pick in the following draft. That's like a bare minimum is this year's first, a future first, and 2 seconds. That would be what I would want if I'm trading down. And like you said, if you get another first instead of the seconds, that'd be ideal. But a bare minimum, I think I want 2 seconds with 2 firsts.
Alonzo Harrison training day. King Kong ain't got shit on me. He says, Baddog, do you like Burgess? I don't know who that is, to be honest with you. I haven't done a lot of research on the draft yet, if that's a draft guy, but I don't know. I'm not sure who that guy is.
That's by the way, that's probably one of my favorite movie characters of all time.
Yes.
Alonzo Harris from Training Day. Oh, that movie's fantastic.
That movie's amazing. It's hard to believe that movie's over 20 years old.
Yeah. That movie's incredible. I was so happy when he won Best Actor for that, because traditionally that's not like the type of movie that somebody would win Best Actor for, but he was so good in it.
Yes, he was. It's one of my favorites. I haven't seen it in a while. I own it, but that's one of those movies when it comes on TV, like I got to watch it, regardless that I own it or I have my wife, because they were playing. I mean, a few years ago they played a lot, like on Cinemax or whatever. And she's like, "Oh, you know what? Training Day again?" Yeah, I am. I am gonna watch it again. Seekins, thank you, brother. He says, "Love how the Giants have pillaged the Bills, and now the Chiefs coaches, and hopefully fixing the offensive line. If DJ can get right, if DJ can't get right, then it's time to move on." I think it might be time to move on anyway. But for Daniel Jones' sake, I really hope that he does get right. I hope he wins some games for the Giants, and then whatever his future is, I hope it's a bright one. We did him no favors. Do I think that he's the future quarterback here? No. Did we help the kid out in any way, shape, or form? Absolutely not. And John Mara admitted as such. John Mara said we screwed him up. Came right out and said, yeah, we messed him up. We didn't do anything good to help him out. We're the reason he failed.
Yeah, and maybe I'll be wrong, and I'm just going based off what I hear, and the owner could be full of it, the coaches could be full of it. It's why, but based off what you just said, like that, like John Mara has literally come out and said, I expect Daniel Jones to be the starting quarterback next year. Like you said, he came out and said, we completely screwed up Daniel Jones, and we're going to do what we can to fix it for him. You've heard reports that Dable absolutely loves Daniel Jones. And Shane, you've heard similar things. So I think Daniel Jones could be the quarterback next year. Maybe I'll be wrong, but that's what I think.
Right. Will 8000, name of the super chat, says, hey, my friends, I just got here. Why do you think Graham left?
Better job in the Flores situation. I think it's a combination of both.
Yeah.
I think it's a combination of both.
Adam Mikowski, thank you, brother. Appreciate it. He says, any concern that Kafka has no offensive coordinator experience?
No, I think a lot of offensive coordinators, you got like
that offensive coordinator experience. How'd that work out for us?
And I also think it's very possible Dable's. I mean, here's what I'll say, Baddog. I think I'd be more concerned about Kafka's lack of experience as an offensive coordinator if we didn't have a coach like Dable. But the fact you have Dable, who's been an offensive coordinator now for X amount of years and one of the better ones in the NFL, I'm not worried at all, to be honest, because I think Dable's going to have a ton of say on the offense. So if we hire Flores, for example, because he's a defensive guy, I might have had more concerns bringing in a guy that's never called plays before. But the fact you have Dable, I'm not too worried about it.
I think the fact that he has such high endorsement for Andy Reid speaks volumes about how valuable he could be. And like you said, a lot of teams, and I didn't know this till you mentioned, but a lot of teams obviously were interested in getting him. I think that's a W for the Giants. I think that especially having a young quarterback like Daniel Jones, you hope that the combination of Dable and Kafka can fix Daniel Jones. And honestly, the best way to fix Daniel Jones is going to come from Joe Shane, and that is getting some big, stinky ogres, or whatever you want to call them. I forgot who mentioned that earlier, in front of him to protect him. And hopefully the offensive system plays into his strengths, and he's good. Yeah. Listen, do Chris and I think he's the future? No. But do we want him to fail? Absolutely not. I've always said you can have an opinion on the Giants. You can like who you like and dislike who you dislike, and that's fine. I'm never telling anybody how to be a fan. I don't tell people how to be a fan. You can root for the Giants however you want. You want to root for them in the tank to get better pick. I'm not going to get mad at you.
Yeah.
But the fans that I don't like, or that I don't consider fans, are people that come out and go things like Daniel Jones is going to suck. And then they root for him to suck.
Yeah.
So they go, I told you I was right. See, I don't want that. I'd rather say the dude sucks and be completely wrong about it. I don't want to be right about that when I'm talking about my players. Ever.
Why, if you're a fan of the team, why?
That's what I'm saying, Chris.
Yeah, and there are fans like that. And the way I look at I'm not accusing anybody in this chat of being like that, but the way I would look at those fans that want to be right, they're not fans. Like you just want to be like I guess you would just want to be an analyst of a football team or something. I don't know what to tell you. Like, if you're a fan, you should always want your players to exceed all expectations. Right. You want what's best for the team, but I think we both try to be as fair as we can. Yeah, if you ask me right now, no, I don't think Jones will be the long-term answer. But I pray and hope I'm wrong. I hope he's the greatest quarterback of all time. I hope that he goes out there and kills it.
That's what we want. We want him to win more Super Bowls than Eli.
Yeah.
Do you not? We want him to win more Super Bowls than Brady.
Yeah.
That's what you hope for. Ian, we get time. Thank you, brother. He says, sorry, I'm late. I had to finish watching my Pelicans beat the Nuggets. I want 2 offensive linemen and a linebacker in the first 4 rounds. Thoughts? I am completely fine with that. I am on board with 2 offensive linemen and a linebacker in the first 4 rounds.
I think it's a necessity. I think it's a necessity on both. I think we need a linebacker as well. Yes. So, yeah.
Completely on board with that, my good man. Pencilman, thank you, brother. He says Graham left because the Giants told him to put weight back on. What a better place than the Vegas buffets. I mean, if he wanted to put weight on, he probably should have went. Well, I don't know. The Spagnola's still there. I was going to say he should have went to Kansas City. Andy Reid could probably teach him how to put on a few. Or he could have went to Dallas because Quinn's gone. He could have went there. I mean, McCarthy could teach him how to add a few LBs for sure.
We said that at the beginning of the year that we didn't like that Patrick Graham lost weight. So maybe that had something to do with why the New York Giants had as bad of a year as they did.
I didn't like that Sabathia lost weight either. I felt like it hurt his stuff.
Yeah.
Sabathia looks great now. Sabathia is in the best shape of his life.
He was at the Knicks game the other night.
He's in the best shape of his life.
Yeah.
He had to pitch heavy. He was better heavy. Mets says, "Are you entertained?" I am. I don't know if Chris is, but I do pretty much.
Yeah, he does all the games. Maybe I will. Maybe I won't. I haven't decided yet. But if not, definitely go over to Baddogs and watch your stream.
Yeah, I'll definitely be doing it. And, like I said, both of those teams are exactly the same. So it should be interesting. I think the Knicks will beat the Lakers. As a guy that watches them both religiously, I think the Knicks will win that game. They beat them the first time they played them. I don't think this will be any different. Because LeBron's not playing, as far as I know. He's been out for a while. Anthony Davis has played a lot better. So we'll see. It should be close. It should be interesting. Like I said, they both are pretty similar. They both too many turnovers. They fall in love with the damn three ball when they should be going to the rim. The only difference is the Lakers will lay down if you punch them. The Knicks, you can punch them as hard as you want. They're always going to get up and fight back for the most part. But the Lakers, they have a tendency to lay down and die. They did not last night. They came back. I thought the game was over in the third quarter. They came back, and they got really close to winning. That was a damn good game last night. I just hope it's a good game. Hopefully the Knicks can pull it out and win. Asia. Hey, Baddog. Hey, Asia. And stand up, my sexy Tainah.
What's going on, Asia? Glad to see you here. How you doing?
So I don't know, Chris. This whole offseason has been certainly been interesting. So
yeah.
I mean, well, like I said, we'll probably I'm sure we'll do the show next week because we will know our defensive coordinator. I would imagine we'll know it by then. It sounds like it'll be Wink Martindale. It seems like usually seems like the first guy you interview is always. Is it just me? Or does
no? I think so far you've been right. I think Shane was the first guy, and no, Dable was not the first guy that came out announced. Actually, it was.
But is it because they couldn't interview Dable?
Maybe
playoffs.
He might have been the first guy they interviewed. He just wasn't the first guy they announced they were going to interview. The first guy they announced was what's his name, Dan Quinn. But I mean, I think we all knew when we hired Shane Dable was going to be the guy. Yeah, I would think Wink's going to be the favorite. More than likely, the Giants have brought him in the past for interviews, right? So he's got high credentials. So I would think he's probably the favorite right now.
Yeah. It just seems like that. I don't know who. I forgot how they did it last year. I don't remember if Judge was the first guy that they brought in.
I don't think he was.
Maybe not.
I could be wrong, but I don't think he was.
We only interviewed like 3 people last year, so I guess it really didn't matter.
Yeah. I think it was McCarthy. I think McCarthy might have been the first person we brought in.
Maybe. They never got the opportunity to interview Matt Rule. I know they wanted to, but they never.
Yeah, McDaniels they didn't get to either. Those two were at the back end of it.
Anthony Medina, thank you, brother. Anthony, maybe this damn lockout will end, and we can start talking about some Yankee baseball. Yeah, maybe. Got my freaking Aaron Judge shirt on. Shout out Dyer Giants fan if he's in the chat. He got like a shirt. He says, hey, guys, hope you're having a good evening. I would give DJ one more shot if it doesn't pan out for him. Let him go, and the Giants can go to the 2023 draft. I'm completely on board with that.
I think that's what they're going to do. Yeah. I mean, maybe they won't. Maybe they will draft the quarterback, but that's what I think they're going to do. I think they're going to give DJ a year with this regime, and it buys these guys a year too. Like we said earlier, it buys them a year. It allows them to fix the rest of this team, and then they basically start their clock. Once they draft that quarterback, their job's on the line. Daniel Jones, their job. They're not really being judged quite yet because that's not their quarterback. So I think they'll wait a year. They'll try to build up the team. And if Jones doesn't take that huge leap, you'll see the quarterback. That's my prediction.
Yeah, I agree. Eds, thank you, brother. Just get home your thoughts on the next defense coordinator. We just mentioned probably Wink Martindale would be. He's got an interview tomorrow. Is that what Justin said? Or Monday?
I think Justin said tomorrow. He's going to be. They're going to bring him in tomorrow. Don Wink Martindale.
I think it'll be him. I mean, listen, I mean, I thought about this a couple of years ago, though. I'm like, we got 3 really smart guys. All 3 of these guys came from Ivy League schools, but Patrick Graham did a nice job. The rest of them obviously did, and Joe Judge was a complete and utter joke. For the rest of my life, I'll be seeing that freaking that quarterback sneak, that freaking reverse wishbone formation on 3rd and 9. I'll never be able to get that out of my head. But if they brought in a Wink Martindale and a Mike Kafka with Brian Dable, that seems like a pretty good coaching staff.
Yeah, I'd
Again,
say
I'm not going to expect a ton, but you saw what Kafka did with Kansas City. You saw what Dable did with Buffalo. They're both pretty good teams, pretty good offenses. And we know what Wink Martindale did in Baltimore. So at least they have somewhat of a track record. Maybe not Wink Martindale at his current position or at his former position as a defensive coordinator. Obviously, Kafka's never been an OC and Dable's never been a head coach, but they were successful in their previous positions where Joe Judge really had nothing as far as like being a big. He wasn't even. He's a special teams coordinator. He wasn't even at an offensive coordinator. He wasn't even at that level. He wasn't even a quarterbacks coach or a linebacker coach. The special teams coordinator. Our special teams sucked. So, Seekins, oh, thank you, brother. He says, I heard Belichick was trying to text from his Microsoft Surface, which is why he screwed up the message. Keep up the great work, guys. Do you think Gettleman had something to do with that? Because we all know Gettleman didn't know how to use the computer.
Anything's possible. I just think it was an honest mistake. I mean, I think they're both named Brian, so he probably honestly thought that he was texting Dable, and he texted Flores. Big mistake on Belichick's part.
I'm thinking maybe if Dave Gettleman would have drafted with the computers his entire time here, we would have done better because the only really good first-round draft pick he had was Andrew Thomas, and that was the year that he had to use computers.
The computer guys.
So what do you think?
Maybe that would have been it. Maybe we needed. If we would have brought those computer folks
because he didn't know what the hell he was doing, and he took the right guy. Maybe that's what happened.
Maybe that's it, man.
Hit the wrong button. Took Andrew Thomas. Ed Steggy brother, he says we're hoping for a 4-3 defensive coordinator. I don't think the Giants are going to be a 4-3 or 3-4. I think they'll be hybrid, and honestly, I think it depends on the talent that you have in the system that you're in. So.
Yeah, I mean, well, Martindale, I don't know all the specifics to his defense, but I'm almost positive the Ravens run a 3-4. Well, I mean, that's their base defense. Like you said, it's going to be most defenses in today's NFL are multifaceted, but I think they run a 3-4. But I think, yeah, my guess is he's going to be the DC.
Jeremiah, thank you, brother. Really appreciate it. He says, my two favorite New York guys. Appreciate that. That's nice coming from the Eagles.
What's up, Jeremiah?
He says, remember if Dable, Joe don't work out, we have room on the bandwagon for you two. No interview or rodeo rule needed. Fan 4 million or for a minority team. We appreciate that. We always appreciate. Jeremiah, you're not the first one to offer the invitation for us to jump the Philly. We love you guys as people. We ain't going to be Eagle fans. If you want to pay me $4 million to be an Eagle fan, I'd have to consider it. $4 million to root for the Eagles, I might have to consider it.
Now, if Jeremiah is offering us the opportunity to potentially be in like a head coach and assistant coach for the Eagles, I may take you up on that because then I'll intentionally lose football games and I'll try to help out the New York Giants. So, if you're throwing that offer our way, maybe we'll take you up on that, Jeremiah.
I'll be honest. I might actually have to try to win games for the Eagles so that I can get a better job with a better organization. It's the NFC East is it's great, man. That's one of my favorite things about shifting gears years ago and doing what I do now is yeah, the trash talking is always fun, and obviously being in the NFC East, we're going to rib each other all the time, and that's part of the fun. But it's nice to actually have intelligent and good conversation with the other fan bases in this division because it is the greatest division in the history of football. It is definitely the most historic, the only division with every one of its members having a Lombardi trophy. And hey, we have almost a quarter of the Lombardi trophies between the four teams. So it's always a lot of fun. There's a lot of history here. And, I can't stand the freaking Eagles, but there's a lot of good Eagle fans on YouTube, which is always a lot of fun. Jeffrey, thank you, brother. He says, how will the Eagles screw up the draft this time?
We do our fair share of that too, so I'm not going to poke fun at them.
What's that?
We do our fair share of that as well, so I'm not going to poke too much fun at the Eagles.
I don't know how much they screwed it up. I mean, they got out of all the cap problems. They got 3 first-round picks. They traded up and got their guy Devontae Smith. I don't think that Devontae Smith was a bad pick. I don't think that the quarterback pick was a good pick, but maybe the Eagles go Malik Willis. Maybe he falls to one of their picks and they do that. You know,
I wouldn't be shocked if the Eagles take a quarterback because they got 3 picks.
yeah.
I wouldn't be shocked. I don't think they will, but I wouldn't be shocked.
I don't want them to. I want Hurts to have another year.
Yeah.
But what I do not want, and what does worry me, I don't want Linderbaum falling to them. They will take him because Kelsey's going to retire. I do not want Linderbaum going to Philadelphia 14th or wherever the hell they're picking. That will not make me. I'm not going to react like some people did when they took Devontae Smith, but it would piss me off if they got that guy. I won't be happy.
I think and I agree with you. I think if he's there, they're going to take him.
Yeah, I don't want that.
I think they would take him.
I'll be mad at that. That one will upset me. Zig, thank you, brother. He says ESPN has Shane hired on the 16th, or Shane hired on the 16th. Not a good look.
Oh, hired on the 16th. Yeah, there was like conspiracy theorists that came out and said that ESPN basically announced that Shane was hired before he was, like a week in advance. I mean, maybe that was, who knows? Maybe it's coincidental. Maybe it's not. I always thought Shane was the favorite, so whatever. But yeah, people are going to say that now that the Flores thing came out, because I remember people were excited because something came out on ESPN like a week earlier before he was officially hired, that it said on ESPN that he was the official GM. I would like to think it was a mistake on ESPN's part.
Well, ESPN also said Brady retired before he actually officially retired. Although I think Brady told people he's retiring and it got out, and then Brady's like, "No, I never said that," because Brady wanted to do it on his own terms. That's the Tom Brady thing. Amazing Guy says they had Shane hired on the 7th.
Whatever it was like a week before they announced he was the GM.
Yeah. Steve, thank you, brother. Appreciate it. He says, "How y'all doing today?" So no more Graham. Now Patrick Graham is headed for greener pastures.
What's up, Steve, man? Thank you. But yeah, Graham's gone. Graham's with the Raiders, and best of luck. And looks like we're bringing in Don. Well, we'll see tomorrow. But according to Justin, who I do trust, I don't think he's a nonsense account. They're bringing in Don Martindale tomorrow for an interview. So, and I saw somebody in the chat say, don't they need to bring in a minority candidate? Yeah, they do. I'm pretty, even for coordinator jobs. I think it's 1 though instead of 2. I think for a head coach you have to bring in 2. I could be wrong on that, but I think it's 1. But yeah, they will. And Don Martindale's obviously not going to be the only guy they bring in, but
right.
You would think he's probably the favorite.
Yeah, definitely. Jeremiah, thank you, brother. I really appreciate it. Says you already know how he gets down in the trenches. Yeah, that's true. He and Chris make a great couple. That's one thing I can say I appreciate him for. You'll probably also take a wide receiver this year. It seems like he likes to do that too.
I'll give him credit, man. He does know how to build a line, on both sides of the ball. Their defensive line's awesome too.
That's why the Eagles were really good. Somebody said Linderbaum to the Eagles confirmed. I'm gonna go on Twitter and do that.
There you go.
Linderbaum can't. I don't want him going to the Eagles. I will not be happy if he falls to them. We, the Giants, need to take that guy.
I'd say 50-50 he could drop to where the Eagles are picking.
I hope
I could see it 50-50.
Listen, like I said, maybe you're all about the Hogs. Maybe I'm just about the centers. Maybe it's just that one position. Give me Creed Humphrey. Give me Tyler Linderbaum. Listen, I was right on Creed Humphrey, so give me a chance at Tyler Linderbaum. Let's go. Of course, I was talking about Creed Humphrey when he's a freshman at Oklahoma. I was talking about Tyler Linderbaum the very beginning of this season, but I didn't watch Tyler Linderbaum as a freshman at Iowa. But I was very high on him from day one this year. I really liked him. He's the best center that's come out of the draft. Well, I shouldn't say that. I was going to say it a long time, but it really ain't since last year. He's the best center to come out since last year when it was Creed, and we had a chance to get Creed, and we didn't.
I think he's more highly thought of than Creed as a prospect coming out. Like, he's been the most talked about center in a long time. So
yeah,
he's going to
end up going to the back of the second round.
He's going to go early. Linderbaum. He's going, I think, at the latest, like 20th. He's going to go. He's definitely going to be a first-round pick.
Steve, thank you for the super chat, brother. Really appreciate it. Says, Baddog, what's your thoughts on the lawsuit? What I would say, Steve, I know you just got here. I talked about that at like the very beginning of the show, maybe 5 minutes in. So I would say just go back and replay because I talked about it for probably a good 5 to 10 minutes, just going through stuff. Um, Quick recap. I don't know how much he can prove, and I don't know uh, exactly what was said or what was done. And Chris and I talked about how we can only go by what we know right now, and maybe things will come out in the future. But right now, it doesn't look like the Giants did anything wrong, but that could change coming forward. As far as what we know, I don't think the Giants did anything wrong. I think the
What I
Miami,
will say, Bad Dog, I don't mean to interrupt you. What I will say is this: we don't know what came out. We don't know if they did anything wrong. But what we both agree on is we don't think they could prove that they did anything wrong with the limited stuff that's come out right now. That
yeah,
I will say. Like,
yeah,
I don't know if they did wrong or not, but what it comes down to is can you prove it? And
right.
with the information that's been provided to us so far, I don't think it's nearly enough.
I think that he may have a better chance at getting Miami in trouble with the incentives, financial incentives to tank. I think that Miami could be in trouble for that. And then Chris had mentioned that obviously the interview process that he had with Denver, um, they could also be in trouble with that. So I don't know. We'll find out more in the near future. I'm sure. Like I said, the story's not going to go away anytime soon. So we'll find out together. LA Lou, thank you, brother. Summing up topic, I'm watching curling on the Olympics. No one ever complains about losing because of the refs, because there aren't any. The players officiate themselves on the honor system. My wife and I were watching the curling, the mixed curling upstairs, and we were talking about how a couple years ago, or the last time they had the Winter Olympics, that we kind of fell in love with curling. I never watched curling before. A few years ago, like I said, the last Winter Olympics, because I fell in love with the Russian woman. I forgot. I don't even remember her name.
Yeah, I remember you talking about her.
I
Yeah.
loved her. Oh my god. My wife always jokes around about that too. I said that today. Where's that Russian one? But I really got to still don't understand it fully, but got to understand it, and I do. I enjoy watching the curling, which I never thought I would. But
I do too, actually. I forgot that I think they started today, right? The Winter Olympics started
yes,
today.
yeah, it's been on a lot. I actually have the Olympics on now. The women's. I think they're doing freestyle.
That's like the only. The Summer Olympics to me are much better than the Winter Olympics.
I
In terms
agree.
of,
I'm definitely more of a summer Olympic guy.
yeah, in terms of like the sports I'm interested in, but I actually do like the curling. It's not like anybody could do it. You don't need to be like a super athlete, but it's fun to watch. But yeah, I would probably say that's probably. I'm not a big figure skating guy. The skiing's all right, I suppose, but I get into the curling. I like the curling.
Yeah, I like that. Well, the hockey, I like the hockey.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, summer. I mean, I was a track runner, so I love the track and field stuff. I love all the track and field stuff. I like the diving. Um, I like the Summer Olympics. I like the basketball. So yeah, but I like watching the Olympics regardless. But yeah, I'm not a big figure skater person. So I definitely prefer the Summer Olympics, and I just prefer the summer over the winter. So it makes sense. Seekins, oh, thank you, brother. Besides the obvious need to fix the offensive line, do you think defensive end or linebacker is more important to fix the D? That's a good question. Defensive end is probably a more valuable position. So I may go there, but I just think that the two best defensive ends are going to be gone by the time we select. Best linebacker is going to be there.
Yeah. I think it's close in today's NFL. Like if you could get like an all-purpose linebacker, I think that is so valuable with their ability. A guy like Micah Parsons, for example. Not to say that there's anybody in this draft like him, but
We should have
if
had
you
him.
yeah, if you could get an all-purpose linebacker, a guy that could drop back in coverage, a guy that could rush the passer, that's super valuable. But yeah, in terms of importance, I'd still put the edge above it. I mean, you look at the best defenses, they're able to get after the quarterback. I mean, you look at the Rams, you look at the Niners, like they get after the quarterback. So I think that's always that and the lockdown corner, I think are the two most important positions on the defense.
Yeah. It's funny watching the NFC Championship game. I was just sitting there watching. I'm just thinking to myself, my God, I'm just thinking to myself, can you imagine if Chris and I were streaming this game and it was the Giants in that
Oh,
game? what that will be like. That's all I get when I put that on Twitter about how, believe it or not, young Giants fans, we used to play in this game. I was just thinking, I'm like, God, can you imagine what that would be like?
It'd be amazing.
You want to ever see me like a nervous wreck and not like aggravated or mad? You want to just see me really nervous?
Playoff game.
That type of thing on the line, because I have a hard time functioning during one of those games.
Yeah. Hopefully we get to do one of those one day.
That'd be amazing.
Yeah.
Daniel, thank you, brother. Appreciate it. Go to school in North Minnesota and just tried curling for the first time. Such an awesome sport. It looks like fun. We actually have there's actually a curling place not too far from
There is
me.
one by me too. They have one. I haven't done it, but there's one by me. I think it's indoor. It's like an indoor curling facility. But yeah, they have
that's the same thing here. It's an indoor curling facility.
Yeah.
And I will say that's my favorite exercise at the gym. I like curling. Curling is good. Curling. Jeremiah, thank you, brother. Really appreciate this. As a 1-0 line, probably day 2, but if Howie grabs one in the first round, I'm cool. Well, yeah, I mean, you guys have 3 first-round picks. So, but I need to say I trust Howie completely with the lines. I can't say that about any other position, well, except maybe tight end and maybe running back.
Yeah, he does. I mean, Dallas Goedert, Zach Ertz, he's drafted good tight ends for them.
Yeah. And quarterback, yeah, I wouldn't trust him with quarterback either.
Wide receiver, definitely not.
Definitely not. Definitely not. I mean, Devontae Smith, again, I don't think.
Yeah, he might be good, but overall.
I said that Jalen Reagor was going to suck. I knew he was going to suck. He sucks. Arcega Whiteside sucks. I forgot the other receiver. Nelson Aguilar sucked. I don't think Devontae Smith will suck, but I don't think Devontae Smith lived up to all the hype this year either.
I don't think he's going to be elite.
No.
He might be, but if you ask me now, I don't think he'll be elite.
LA Lou, thank you, brother. Really appreciate it. Says you can develop a good edge rusher, but a guy who can collapse the pocket really enhances the rush. Aaron Donald elevated Dante Fowler.
Of course.
Oh, God, yeah. Well, I mean, Aaron Donald would elevate.
Aaron Donald changed the sport. You know, we talk about that with Lawrence Taylor. Aaron Donald did it too. I mean, he's a guy that, you know, teams started to look for guys that could get interior pressure. You know, people didn't just look exclusively for edge rushers. Aaron Donald had a lot to do with that. Aaron Donald's incredible.
Yeah, Aaron Donald definitely a beast. There's no doubt about that. Like Chris said, a game changer for sure. But yeah, I mean, we look at it last year, and we could talk about how Dalvin Tomlinson definitely enhanced Leonard Williams. Leonard Williams certainly missed Dalvin Tomlinson on the interior offensive line. He definitely helped out a lot. So it's definitely true. The guy that can collapse the pocket. Number one, you're blowing up the running game. That's the thing. And that's the best place to get pressure on the quarterback. When we beat Brady in Super Bowl 42, it's because Justin Tuck kept getting pressure up the middle. Because a quarterback can step up in the pocket. If the quarterback's good, they can step up around the rush from the outside. They can feel that pressure, and then you step up, and the lineman can push him away, and he's clear. Yep. You get pressure up the middle, the quarterback can't step up. If he steps up, he's going into the pressure. And also, when you can't step into the throw, because the guy's there, the throw's inaccurate, it has no zip on it, it can be picked off.
And you're going to roll right out of the pocket into the edge rusher. So
right.
Yeah.
And yes, if you have to roll out of the pocket, you're only going to be able to go to one side of the field. So it's definitely more beneficial to get pressure up the middle whenever you can. And that's why Aaron Donald is such a freaking stud. Like that. Pennsylvania, thank you, brother. He says, watching practice from the Senior Bowl, there's a
edge. I think he meant to say.
Yeah, edge from the U that no one can block. Sorry, I forgot his name. I don't watch Miami football, so.
Miami edge.
Oh, it's not Greg Rousseau. That was the guy from last year. How did he do this year?
I think he did okay. I remember hearing his name. I think he got drafted by the Bills, if I'm not mistaken. I think he did okay. Miami had 3 really good edge rushers last year. We got one of them, Quincy Roche, but they had Rousseau, and then they had was it Phillips? Jalen he went in the first round. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but they had 3 edge rushers last year, Miami.
For sure. Jeremiah Maxwell, thank you, read him for 10 months. He says, Baddog and Chris coming to you live from Vegas. Very nice, Jeremiah. I'm sure it's much warmer in Vegas than it is in Alaska. I'd be willing to bet my house on that. Asia, thank you for reading him for 28 months. I think I read this already. It says, hey, Baddog, and stand up by Sexy Tainah.
What's going on? Oh, yeah, you already read that earlier. What's going on, Asia?
I just happened to catch these. I went to the YouTube chat, because when you look at StreamYard, you miss those, but I just got those. But listen, guys, girls, it is midnight. We can get out of here. Went a little over. Obviously, a lot to talk about, a lot of situations going on with the Giants, some very good, some not so good. And, obviously there's going to be more to come. We'll do this show again next week on Chris's channel. So if you haven't done so again, one last time, hit the thumbs up, helps out the stream. Make sure you subscribe, ring the bell. More importantly, make sure you go into the description link to the Up Tainah Talkin Sports is there. Click on it, sub them up, ring the bell as well. Probably know more about the Brian Flores situation. And I'm glad that I finally figured out his last name and stopped calling him. I knew his last name, but I'm glad that I finally stopped calling him Brian Fuentes. I don't know what the hell. Is he a pitcher or something? Why the hell I keep thinking that guy's a pitcher?
Sounds like a pitcher.
We'll know more about the Flores situation, and we'll probably have a new defensive coordinator at that time. So I always appreciate you guys and girls watching. It means a lot to us. We had a really good crowd tonight on a Friday night, which we greatly appreciate. So, Chris, any last words?
No, I listen. I see Informal says, "Wait, Graham is not coming back." No, for anybody that just tuned in, Patrick Graham is gone. He's signed on with the Raiders. But always have so much fun doing the show. Like you said, not it's still a good amount to talk about. It's been a fairly active offseason. Hopefully next week we find out the DC. We'll talk about that. Sprinkling a little bit Super Bowl talk as well next week, being that the game's going to be a couple of days away. So that'll be fun to kind of talk about the game. But we'll have a little bit more to talk about next week with the DC. We talked about Kafka briefly, but just appreciate everybody, all the support you guys always show. Looking forward to seeing what the New York Giants do for the rest of the offseason. Free agency is going to be here before you know it. I was thinking about it today. I'm like, free agency is like 6 weeks away, 5 weeks away. Not that we're going to be super active. I don't think the Giants are going to make any major moves. They'll make some small moves, but it's always exciting to see, who lands where, and not just with the Giants, but around the league. So it should be a lot of fun coming up in 5 or 6 weeks. And then the draft's going to be here a month after that. So we'll have the combine coming up. We'll have, the Senior Bowls tomorrow. So I'm sure there'll be some headlines with that. And we'll see who the DC is going to be. But thank you guys for all the support. Of course, Baddog, always love doing the show. Yes. I'll be back on my channel next week talking Giants. So thank you guys for being here, and enjoy the rest of your night.
Yeah, real quick, I saw a couple of you mention this in the chat just now. 2 weeks from tomorrow, February 19th, the semi-annual 24-hour stream. So I'll be streaming from 9 a.m. on February 19th to 9 a.m. on February 20th without stopping. Charity we're doing it for this time is JDRF. So if you are somewhere around in that 24-hour period, come on by, say hello, especially if you're up at 4 o'clock in the morning, want to see me loopy. So it's a good time. But I'll have guests on the channel. I always, Chris, you always have an open invite to come on that whenever you want to. Obviously, I'll ask Philly 500. I want to see if I can get Hot Take Hockey on again. Uncle Lou always comes on it, and we always have a lot of fun. I doubt DWG will be able to make it. I will ask. Shaved my head on stream last time. I'm not going to have to do it this time because I just cut my hair yesterday. So we'll have to do that. But yeah, February 19th, always a lot of fun. It'll be my 6th time I've done this. Never gets any easier. 24 hours is still 24. So looking forward to that for sure. Real under the gun there. See Genzo, thank you, brother. He says, with the recent retirement of quarterbacks, who do you think the Giants will be in the mix to trade back for a needy team, or are they not close enough to the top? For quarterbacks?
Oh, they're definitely close enough to the top.
Oh, God, yeah. The Giants, no one in the top 4 is taking a quarterback.
Probably not.
Jacksonville's not.
Yeah.
Maybe Detroit?
Yeah, maybe Houston. I mean, Mills played pretty well for them last year, but but more than likely, no, I agree. The Jets certainly won't. So yeah, I definitely think if somebody wants to trade for a quarterback, we're sitting in a pretty good spot.
Yeah, without doubt.
And especially because the team we're picking in front of, the Carolina could easily take a quarterback. So teams may look at the 5 spot and be like, we got to jump Carolina. If say Malik Willis starts to blow up and on draft night he's not off the board and the Giants are picking at 5, that could be a prime spot to trade up to.
There's no doubt. But we are getting out of here. Once again, guys and girls, we really do appreciate you're the best subscribers and supporters on YouTube. You're the best fan base in the NFL. We've been through hell, back, and then hell again, and back, and hell again. Hopefully we get back and we stay back. Going to be an interesting offseason, and looking forward to sharing with each and every one of you guys and girls. So for the entertainer talking sports, it's a bad diggity dizzle. We go.